This episode of this podcast is brought to you in part by Manscaped. Hey, have you started spring cleaning yet? The carpets need cleaning, the drapes need dusting, and your lawn needs mowing. You know what I mean? Time to trim up down below with Manscaped. Manscaped has the full package you need for spring cleaning this year, the Performance Package 4.0. It's the only tool you need to keep everything downstairs looking and smelling like the fresh tulips that your partner wants. To start off, there's the Lawnmower 4.0 trimmer, the most precise shave on your zone, the test of the pubic region, as it were. It's waterproof. You can do the shower, all that stuff. It's got an LED light in case hey, maybe you like shaving in the dark, just a little bit more light on the situation here. There's also the Weed Whacker. It's a nose and ear hair trimmer with proprietary skin-safe technology to help prevent nicks, snags, and tugs in those delicate holes. Also, there's the Crop Preserver and Crop Reviver. That's an anti-chafing ball deodorant and moisturizer, and a spray-on toner for your testicles. Yes, that's right, the full package, Performance Package 4.0. You want to know more about it? Of course you do. And there's a special deal. You can get 20% off and free shipping with the code Bombcast at manscaped.com. That's 20% off and free shipping with the code Bombcast at manscaped.com. It's time to throw out your old hygiene habits and upgrade your life. Straight out the rubble of Scott Steiner's Shonies. It's the giant Bombcast. Rising
from
up
your grave.
out of the dust and mist of the haunted Shonies. Some say if you go there on a Sunday evening, you can still hear the peaks and freaks.
What, do you think he did Steiner math when it came to like investing in that Shonies?
Or at least coupons, I'm sure.
Yeah, I mean, probably something like that. I mean,
Yeah.
I feel like
You get 2 coupons and then, that's 3/4 of a coupon right there. So you just need 5 more to get, yeah, you know how it goes.
It's
we
almost
accept,
like
we
a stamp
accept all
card.
competitors' coupons except for Kurt Angle's.
Does Kurt Angle own a restaurant now?
No, probably not. I mean, yeah, maybe. I don't know what does Kurt Angle own? A
A
podcast.
milkshake place.
Yeah.
I'd buy it.
Is he still around?
Yeah. I mean,
Kinda.
he's not like working, but he's got a podcast. I feel like that's the wrestler pipeline now is you work backstage for a while as an agent, and maybe you're into that role, maybe not. And then when you're not, then you're starting your podcast where you tell all the road stories that they used to save for books.
What's the angle with Kurt Angle?
Wait a minute.
Go
I'm
on.
waiting.
Kurt Angle was married to Jeff Jarrett's current wife.
Yes, Karen Angle is now Karen Jarrett.
Jarrett Angle.
I think I don't think she has any of the angle in there at all.
It'd be a little bit awkward.
Maybe sometimes.
Mouthful. It's a whole mouthful.
I think when you're working for TNA, you get bored and, things happen, right?
Right.
Right.
What are you gonna
Sure.
do?
Sure. It happens.
Yeah.
Marry your coworker's wife, yeah.
Yeah. In the grand wrestling tradition, you're going to hook up with someone who's already in some kind of relationship, and things will go bad, and it will be awkward backstage.
Someone hear birds or bats, or am I just going
That
insane?
might be me. I got my window open out here.
Okay. I'm
You
glad.
got
it's
birds down there.
Are they breaking the gate? Yeah, we got birds.
ever so slightly. I thought I was like cartoon style. I got knocked out thinking about Kurt Angle and Scott Steiner. They were just fluttering around my head.
Yeah,
These
that'll happen.
birds. They're breaking the gate.
All right. Well, if these birds are a problem, I'll close the window.
Oh no, it's pleasant enough.
I love birds.
Now that I
Who doesn't love
know
birds?
where they're
Yeah.
coming from.
Okay, great.
Are you
Also
a casual
pleasant.
birder now?
Yeah,
Me?
I
am.
Yeah, we're all casual birders now. I'm gonna hang on.
I'm not gonna lie. I think birds are amazing. Like
They're scary as shit. Come on.
Well, this is the opposite
like
of the
cute
stance
little
we've
birds?
taken.
Yeah.
so on my honeymoon, right when I was in Hawaii.
Mhm.
Okay.
Hawaii.
Yes. I came across like a bunch of birds that I'd never seen before because that place is like a phenomenon in every sense. It's a geographical marvel.
An
Right?
ecosystem.
Yeah, it's like,
Right?
Here's
It's the
a volcano,
youngest.
and
it's
then
a
here's a
biome.
bunch of.
It's like the youngest, land on Earth, pretty much. And like, there's all these wild, brand new birds. And I was like, you know what? These things are fucking fascinating. And then, wherever I go, wherever I travel, I'm like, oh, that bird looks cool. I wonder what kind of bird that is. Slowly but surely, my wife, who used to make fun of me because I would like every now and then take a photo of a bird and be like, look at this fucking weird looking thing. Now, all of a sudden, she herself, she's taking a step further. She's following weird ass bird Instagrams. Okay.
Oh no.
Weird ass bird Instagram.
Just like
Right.
birds that have no no
Asses.
reasonable explanation for their coloring. Like how these things evolved into the wild palette of colors that they have is like makes no real sense. It's amazing. Birds are amazing.
Birds. Wow.
Birds.
I have been pleasant. One of the pleasant surprises of moving to a hotter climate is there are a zillion lizards around here.
Oh,
Ooh,
sick.
fun.
Yeah. So like every time I go outside, a lot of hummingbirds too. There were a few hummingbirds where I was before, but there's a lot more. And so you go outside on a hot day, you'll see like a lizard just hanging out on the sidewalk, just doing his
Basking
thing.
in the sun. Yeah.
Yeah. I had a lizard jump up on one of my sprinkler heads on my back lawn.
Ooh, that
just
sounds fun.
And just like perched on that, looking around. I was like, man, lizards are fucking cool. And my wife was like, what the fuck is wrong with you? I was like, I don't know. Look at this lizard. And I keep showing her all these zoomed in pictures of lizards I keep taking. Well, I don't want to get close to them because I'll run away. So that's why it's a little blurry, but look at this lizard.
I felt the same
Very
way
excited
about a
about
field
lizards.
mouse that I saw on a hike once. I
Oh,
was like, look at this little guy.
A lot of chipmunks and or a lot of squirrels and stuff like that in the park nearby too, like clambering up trees and being crazy. There's a lot of fucking shit out there.
Nature's wild, man.
Yeah.
I miss the squirrels in Madison Square Park near the old office because those squirrels were like street tough.
Oh yeah, they're smoking like 2 packs a day.
Yeah.
They're
Totally.
running a food cart. Like, you want a fucking hot dog or not?
Shaking
Unsuspecting
down pizza joints
tourists.
for a slice of pie.
Yeah, I'm telling you, man. Like unsuspecting tourists would have like food ripped out of their hand mid bite by one of these crafty fuckers.
Yeah.
Like they will straight up rob you if you're not. That's what's amazing. Like they fucking learned over time. I guess, and they just started talking to each other and they're like, "Yo, we can be as aggressive as we want with these people and face little to no consequence whatsoever."
Do you think they suffered during the pandemic? Like they were like, where'd all the peanuts go? Where'd all the
That's
schmucks
an interesting
go?
point. I feel like their population probably took a hit. It had
Yeah.
to have.
Yeah. Just not a lot of their habitat probably got disrupted.
Yeah.
They've probably gotten soft from relying on
Perhaps
half-eaten hot dogs and all
Perhaps.
this other stuff. So,
2 years go by. They're a little softer now. They have to retrain themselves on the aggressions of.
I'm saying you could get out there, you could probably catch them and start
Yeah.
eating them and turn the tables.
Whew.
You know,
now, who's God, huh?
from all the
Uh-huh.
internet videos I've seen,
Squirrel melts.
it seemed like the rats were ready to take over New York. They were grabbing pizza slices, telling fortunes and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
You know, maybe it's a good thing we calmed down because they were like, oh, they're becoming a threat. We gotta rise up.
They were mobilizing. They were definitely mobilizing for sure.
Yeah, simpler times.
I'll take a rat over a cockroach any day of the week.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah. I think I can.
You know?
Yeah. Yep.
Cockroaches stink. They stink.
Yeah, cockroaches are the worst. They're also They're also like a bug. They're bugs. I hate bugs,
they're bugs.
more than anything.
I don't like bugs, but also like rats are.
They're feral as fuck. Don't get me
One
wrong.
rat
Rats are
is
bad.
fine. I don't
Rats
like
are
multiple
so
rats.
Never one rat.
Like a
Yeah,
nest.
that's true.
You want a
Yeah.
nest of rats.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like we last time I had to deal with rats years ago. Well, yeah, I guess both, and the time before that, it was like, oh, we caught like 5 of them, and then maybe that sent a message. So I mean, I used to live near an airport, a very tiny local airport that was surrounded by fields. And so those fields were just full of rats, doing what rats do. Making more rats.
Figurative nim shit.
Yeah.
I don't know.
And then
that's terrifying.
descending upon the homes in the area and chewing through everything and being assholes. Spiders, same deal. There would be times where, like, when the weather would get a certain way, you'd go for a walk and walk alongside that field, and you would just see thousands of baby spiders crossing the sidewalk, moving in the direction of the homes.
Oh gosh.
And just go like, I have to get out of here.
Yeah.
Speaking about spiders, about
spiders, your number one home.
I parked my partner's car in front of our place, just to take that street parking slot, right? And then we've left her car there for quite a while, and we'll move it during street cleaning.
Sure.
But every single week, there's like a whole new spider web on her side view mirror, and it just keeps getting bigger and bigger. And we cleaned it off. We got her car wash. We switched my car there to take up the spot. And then, like, we did a deep cleaning. We even paid to get, like, the people doing the car wash.
Spider removal.
Right? And then we're thinking, like, all right, the car's moved and everything. And lo and behold, it's in front of the driveway now. All new webs. Wow.
Only
on that mirror, though.
Oh, the webs
Only on that mirror.
Huh.
Something about that mirror.
And
Might
now,
be behind the mirror.
maybe.
Yeah, they're in there.
And now my car has the spider mirrors too. Now it's just webs on my car.
I got to imagine at any given moment there are like a dozen spiders living in your vehicle, like anyone's car. They're just there.
Definitely, yeah.
They just seem to be there, like hanging out. Like this seems like a good way to get around and kind of warm every now and then and safe.
Yeah. You'll get rats doing stuff like that too, where it's like the car will be warm when the car is parked, and they'll be like, yes, warmth, and then they will hang out in your car, and then you will start the motor, and then rat is getting chewed up somewhere. And
I had
also chewed through all your
fucking
spark plug cables and all kinds of shit.
I lost a cat that way.
Yeah, that'll happen.
Oh no!
Oh Jesus Christ!
That'll happen.
I had no idea what happened. You know, we turned the car, and all of a sudden, I saw my aunt who was driving me to school, like, put her head down and start crying.
Oh
I'm
no!
like, what's wrong? What's wrong? And she's like, nothing. I was just remembering something. She didn't tell me about it until.
Oh jeez!
So sad.
It was a family cat. Oh no!
Yeah.
That's
She was just trying to get warm in the engine. Oh God. Oh God.
I discovered that a passenger in my car had left I don't know, it was like a half-eaten granola bar, something under the seat, under the passenger seat.
Oh no!
And I discovered it by getting in the car and being like, "There are ants everywhere in this car.
Oh no!
This car is overrun by ants. What am I to do? Set this car on fire?"
Talking. Yeah, you might as well just, like, tuck and roll it into a river or something, because once those ants start talking to each other, ants are another amazing fucking animal.
Yeah.
These things, millions of them just talking to each other, being like, this way, go this way,
over here. I'm gonna lay down a smell here, and you're gonna pick up that smell and be like, oh, food, word.
You ever see when they get in the death spirals, like they kind of break off from the group and they start going in circles because they're just following the person that's in front of them, right?
It's crazy. It's also used against them in insecticide.
Yeah. Yeah, you get some taro, lay it out there.
Here, pass this around.
Look at that, there are ants here. Well, here, ants, try this.
Pass this
this
shit
out.
around. Give this to your fucking queen.
This is very good. This is incredibly good. I'm going to tell everyone about this great tasting stuff here.
Yeah.
And then you come back 45 minutes later, they're all fucking
dead
gone.
ants. Dead ants.
Gone. Not even dead ants. They're fucking gone.
Oh yeah.
Ants don't just die. They just they just evaporate into dust.
Yeah.
Yeah. First one's free. First one's free, boys. Yeah.
Thinking about all the ant murder I've committed over the years. They had it coming. My house is a stand your ground house when it comes to ants and other like-minded vermin. How about we talk about some video games? What do you say?
Let's see if this works.
Yeah.
Did that work? No?
Yeah, a little bit.
I was hearing it there for a sec.
Okay. I'll get this right.
Trying to break the gate.
Yeah.
I don't know if it's doing it.
Oh, you know what? Discord keeps resetting all of my audio settings.
Oh, yeah.
Oh,
You got to
thanks.
turn all that stuff off on the Discord end too, because they want you to. They're like, what if we made it better like that? Yeah, but not for this because we make it better ourselves. Anyway, the Playdate. From
Playdate.
Panic, the FTP client people over
Transmit.
at Panic. Yes,
Yeah, baby.
From Transmit to the Playdate. Transmit is a hell of a FTP client. If you're on a Mac, highly recommend it. Some people like Coda for some other coding type thing. Anyway, the Playdate is shipping now. That doesn't mean you can go order one. I mean, you can go order one, but you're not going to get one until next year. If you don't remember, this is the Playdate. It is this tiny ass portable video game device that
Has about 30 seconds ahead.
Has this crank on it, and you can play video games on it. Also has an accelerometer. You buy it for about $180, and then it gives you a season of games, which is 24 games. They're doling those out to people like 2 a week, and it's an awesome little thing that I think they have achieved exactly what they set out to do, and that's make this thing and then make a bunch of games that take advantage of its features in a bunch of like weird and delightful ways.
Yeah.
You know.
Yes.
We streamed a bunch of it on the site yesterday, so that video is there if you want to take a look. And yeah, I don't know. I'm having a really good time with it. The screen is not maybe the best for indoor. Like it's it's not backlit.
There's no blacklight,
so
yeah.
So you have to it's bring your own light. We need a snake light for this thing.
We got to sell them first.
And maybe a magnifying screen magnifier to go with that if we're really going to start bolting stuff to it.
Do you think we should sell like an add-on attachment to make the crank bigger?
Oh, like a high-powered crank. I don't know. I don't know if you want a bigger crank so much as you want, because it would go slower the bigger it is.
Like maybe
you
like
want
just so you
better
can
fidelity.
hold your hand on it.
You know?
Oh, sure. Just like if it was like a bigger stick out of the side or something, so
Yeah.
you could go like that. Maybe that would be good. I don't know. The crank feels good.
It does.
Yeah, and I still think like the game that sums it up for me is that oh geez, I should really check out the name of it here. The surfing game,
Whitewater,
which is called Whitewater
Wipeout.
and it is basically a remake of the California Games surfing event, and you
But
use the
also
crank to
TNC
turn the
surf
snowboard. God damn it, it's not even similar. We're gonna play TNC Surf Design, and you're gonna see that the gorilla that game is fucking garbage. That the skating is the only part of that game that's worth a shit.
So good.
Yeah, you turn the crank and jump off the wave and do stuff, and it's really good at illustrating the fidelity of the crank in terms of like the game is reading it at a specific position. It's not just like spin it and it spins like an Atari paddle or something like that. It's very positional. So games that need that fidelity can use it. And I don't know. It's like it's like it's like a physical device that feels like the result of a game jam or something, where it's like, okay, like we've made this device that has this crank and this other stuff, and they went out and found a bunch of talented small developers to make products for it, and they all had to take those limitations into account, and through those limitations have come some really interesting ideas. And so it's got that vibe to it that I think is really, really cool. At the same time, I don't know that there are any games that I've played so far that I'm going to be playing this one for months. Like there's stuff that I'll certainly go back to, but it's a fun toy. You look at the stuff and you're like, these are really fascinating ideas. Some of them are turned into better games than others. But it's interesting nonetheless, and they deliver them weekly. So you'll kind of get 2 games a week. So you can kind of marinate on like, oh, okay, I'm now completely done with this bird watching RPG, and now I'm ready for the next thing.
So what happens when you get your Playdate late? You get it next year or something like that. Are you out on those season 1 games? Like, how do you get those?
Well, so what they're doing right now, they have plans for additional games down the line. They haven't really gotten specific about what that looks like, but right now with season 1 of the Playdate games, whenever you activate your Playdate is when your season starts.
That's
so you will always get, so it's not like you're going to join mid seasons and it's going to be like, here's 14 games all at once. It's going to start your season.
That's weird.
when you first activate the device. And so everyone will have that same kind of cadence. Maybe they get to a point where once the season is over, they're like, hey, and for previews, they upped the unlock speed to 2 games per day instead of 2 games per week. So, they maybe have the ability to tweak that. Maybe they get to a point where like, hey, once they start doing more games on the side, they're like, hey, if you just want to unlock these games, go to the website and click this button and you'll get access to them all or something like that. I wouldn't be shocked if they changed something about that down the line.
Looking online, it looks like it is super easy just to sideload smaller games or stuff that's been made on itch or whatever onto the device, right?
Yeah, you can download the SDK for it directly from them. You don't have to like fill out developer agreements or anything like that. Cool. It's just sitting there, and then yes, there are already games on itch being sold for the Playdate, and you can just sideload them by going to the Playdate website. You download the file from itch or wherever you got it from, drag it onto the window, and then it will show up in your list of games on the Playdate to be downloaded remotely. It's pretty slick, so you don't have to you do whatever USB and download all this other stuff. It's all kind of it's all relatively seamless, and that's pretty nice. They also have something called Playdate Pulp, which is not the full SDK. It's like a browser-based game maker that people can kind of get in there and futz around with and come up with some ideas. And I have not seen anything that's come out of Pulp yet. I toyed around with it for a little while and was like, this is cool, but I don't have time to do this.
Do you get access to Pulp if you don't have a Playdate?
Totally. You can if you don't have. I mean, a lot of these games have been developed without a Playdate like that because you can get the SDK and it has a simulator in it, so you can just start making your Playdate game either in Pulp or with the full SDK.
Cool.
And check them out and debug them and all that other stuff without having a real Playdate.
I guess I feel like I have a good understanding of like where this product sort of lives in the space at the moment. And I think, again, I did pre-order one. I'm sure that'll show up relatively soon. But I wonder if my suspicion that like this thing is kind of almost like a really complicated fidget spinner sort of thing, like where it's a novelty in a way that it can't necessarily replace a Switch on the go.
No, definitely
of
not.
Course not, no, right? But like it is this sort of novelty, fun little unique thing, right? Is that sort of where it's falling in?
Totally. It's a cool toy. It is not meant to participate in the it's not competing. No. It is meant to be its own thing, and I think it succeeds incredibly well at that. And it's a weird. It's been I think since the thing got announced, and since even last year when we were looking at the games as previews and stuff like that, there was this undercurrent of people going like, well, I don't know why I would buy this. This looks, and like immediately going like, well, why would I do this when I could get a Switch for this amount of money? Like, it's like you're just missing the point at that point. Like, it's not.
If that's your response, it's not for you.
It's not for you. Yeah, no, and that's fine. And people go like, oh, it's just for hipsters. Like, no, it's for people who fucking, I don't know, like smaller games from single devs in some cases, and want to see interesting iterations on a concept, in this case being like the crank and the hardware itself. And I think that's pretty exciting, and I think for $180 that's not that much money. I don't know, like that's like sure, it is over half of a Switch or something like that, I guess, but like I don't know, like it's $180 and you get like 24 games to fuck around with and all that other stuff. So the criticism is weird. Well, it's not weird. It's just like the criticism I think comes from a place that's just like, you sure, it's not for you. It's not aiming it to be this big mainstream device, and that's totally okay.
I also think there's a difference between criticism and just like needlessly knocking the thing, right?
It's a weird, like sometimes it feels like the I don't know, the way people shit talk mobile games still. Like there's still a crowd of people out there clinging to that in a strange way. But I don't know, whatever. Like fans of video games are fucking crazy, it turns out. So fans of specific types of video games. I guess that's the thing is like
anyone
I feel
who
like
likes anything is crazy.
Yeah. I was gonna say I feel like the people that have those sorts of complaints about this device, I just get the impression of like, oh, you don't really like video games. You just kind of like these specific types of bigger game. You know, like your subsection is very small.
Yeah.
If you can't at least see why this thing might exist, I don't know. That said, like I have not been blown away by every single game on the device. Like it's a cool device. And I'm glad to be able to fuck around with it and see these games, and some of them are better than others and all that sort of stuff. But there are definitely some you load up when you're like, okay, I'll load this up once and all right, I see what you're going for here. Awesome. I'm going to go do something else.
I think the thing that folks should definitely do is they should watch a video of this thing in action, specifically watch our video in action. Because I was under the assumption that this would just look like a Game & Watch style thing, like a shitty Tiger Electronics $5 game thing that they sell at a Walgreens. Dirty. But no, the visual fidelity with almost all the games we checked out yesterday is very impressive. Like I thought it would almost be like a Kindle in terms of like the e-ink, you know, of like it's going to take a while to refresh and everything.
Sure.
Right.
But it's really sharp. Like even specifically the transitions between some of the scenes in that bird watching game were really impressive. And a part of that game is focusing your camera, and you do that using the crank. And that is done well, especially only given that the developers have just black and white as as color options for displays and stuff.
Yeah, the fidelity of the screen itself is really nice. I think it's a little small in a way that, I mean, when I was talking about magnifying glass, I'm kind of not kidding. Like there's definitely, I mean, part of that is I need fucking glasses, but that screen can be a little small in some games. But yes, the images themselves are a lot sharper than you'd expect. And yeah, you think about like, oh, they're going for an original Game Boy thing or something like that, but it's not like that weird ghosting refresh rate terrible thing. It's a pretty nice screen. It just, you know, you need to play it in an area where there is light.
Yeah.
But anyone can also download the Mirror app, which is the thing that spits it out to a PC screen and lets you capture it, which is what we were using yesterday. There's a little bit of latency on that. So, you know, you might have to deal with that if you wanted to play the games that way, but you could play the games that way, especially the ones that are not action oriented, where you're not going to really notice or care about that little bit of latency there. Yeah, so that's out now. The first orders, I guess, have started shipping as of yesterday, but they are also backed up until next year. So
damn it.
Like,
if you place one now, you're waiting until 23 for sure.
Yeah. So
yeah.
By then, I guess I wonder what that means for their plans. Like if they had started thinking about like, oh well, we want to do another season of games, and how are we going to sell it and all this other stuff. But now, if there are people, they're still going to be 9-10 months out or more, and getting their device for the first time. If there's suddenly like we're not in any rush to make more games for it because we have to wait for more people to get it, or I don't know. It's such a weird thing that the release cadence and also there's kind of nothing else like it. So I wonder how they're looking at that stuff and what they're planning on doing.
I'm going to cross my fingers and wait, because I feel like they might come out with a backlit version of this. I'm hoping. I'm hoping.
I wonder.
They were really going all in on like, this screen is very reflective in a way that even the smallest light source should be enough to kind of let you see what you're doing.
There's a let you see what you're doing, and there's an appreciate the full fidelity of the screen, and I think those are two very different forms of lighting. Like I can play it in here with the lights that I have, but I have to like reflect, like if I'm holding it dead on, that's too dark. If I hold it over here to reflect off the light in the room, this is ideal, but not an ideal way to look at it, especially if I'm holding it to crank it. Like there's just a lot of considerations around that sort of stuff. So yeah, it's that's maybe the one thing about it, is you just have to be aware of how, where you're going to play it, all that other stuff. Someone in the chat asked about if it's like sturdy and kid friendly. I think it's pretty sturdy. It feels very solid. Like it looks like something you might just be able to like snap in half, but it's pretty dense in there. The crank feels very sturdy, and it doesn't just droop. It'll stay.
Oh, That's more than I thought it'd be, actually.
Yeah, it's stiff in a sense. And if it's kid friendly, I don't know. My daughter grabbed it and ran around with ran away with it, and I found it on the ground later, and she had pulled the crank out and done God knows what with it. And it survived that. It's made by Teenage Engineering, and I guess they do a lot of audio hardware, and not a lot, but they do some cool audio hardware that I've never touched, but people have said it is similarly sturdy, despite looking small and cool.
I hate that company. I hate Teenage Engineering so much because they make such cool things.
Have you seen
what's the
fucking?
It's expensive.
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 Oh, okay.
Have you seen the big speaker?
Yeah,
that has a looper built into it.
Of course I have. Of course I have.
That almost got me. Like, I thought about buying an OP1, but then I was like, oh, I'm a software synth guy. I don't need an OP1.
They've got like a hey, fuck Braun, we're the new Braun kind of
yes, definitely
situation going on.
Yeah.
But Jeff, at least you have musical talent. I don't know how to play anything but a banjo. None of those skills will carry over to an OP1.
Then just download a copy of FL Studio and start making dubstep like everybody else.
All right.
Oh, these
there.
look. I want to push these buttons.
Right, they look so cool.
No, I know. Yeah, it's.
Yes. I want to push all these buttons.
I don't know why it's like a weird sell, but like it has an FM tuner on it.
Did they license Mega Man?
Oh yeah, the little I almost bought the little ones that do all the video game sounds, and then I realized I really don't need that. Like if I want to leave video game sounds, I have all the equipment I need to do that already. But yeah, they worked on the hardware, and they've got a pretty good rep for that sort of stuff. So it's a cool device. I think my other knock on it is that the Wi-Fi on it seems very slow. I guess you're downloading 2 games a week and then you're done, and maybe they'll update the games and update the firmware of the device and stuff like that. But like,
they can't be huge files, right?
I've had they're like 20 megs, 40 megs, stuff like that. I'm hit the button and then watching, and go like, man, this should be done already. This is weird. So I don't know, if they just opted for a very low cost part in there to keep costs down, or because it's not like it's something that's I'm not playing games online with it or anything. So yeah, but some of those downloads took weirdly long. Jan, you finished Sapho.
No way, really?
Whoa.
Oh my god.
Tell me.
You finished Fedora Hunter.
Yes. I kept that thing on me the whole time, and it made all the cutscenes even that much better afterwards. Early on to when this game came out, Imran Khan and I had a quick exchange where I told him this was a great game, and then he had said back that this game fucks, and it does. It does really hard, and what that specifically means, I'm still not entirely sure.
Mm-hmm.
And it dawned on me, because upon finishing it, I wasn't quite sure if I understood everything, so I just fired up like this random YouTubers like synopses, and then listening to them, it dawned on me also that there is a whole new generation of fans of Final Fantasy that grew up specifically in like the Nomura era, that everyone embraces and is completely okay with all of, let's just say, bullshit. And as someone that is on the side of both fields of grass here, it is incredibly entertaining to see what the future of Final Fantasy might become, given that it's under, most of it at least, is under the Nomura lens lately.
Okay.
And spoilers, everyone, and I don't know if the crew here minds if I spoil some of this.
No, please.
Okay.
Give me more reason to play it. Yes.
If you are familiar with the Marvel movie or the Marvel series The Eternals, this game is just that.
Wow. Okay.
Where this whole time you're kind of like glitching out occasionally during bits of the story. It looks like you might be Data, like one of the Kingdom Hearts games, or you might be like re-resing into something like in Final Fantasy VII Remake. Again, spoilers for Kingdom Hearts, all of Kingdom Hearts, and all of Final Fantasy VII Remake, while I am talking about Stranger of Paradise. Because it turns out...
Now you're making me not want to play.
Yes, I realize all this is going to like immediately unsell everyone on this. But you and your crew, your specific crew of people, you, Ash, other guy, and then you eventually get 2 girls to join your team. You are all an ancient race of kind of pseudo aliens or robots that get put on the planet to save the planet because of the darkness and the negativity of man is causing the darkness to grow stronger.
So it's Ghostbusters 2?
It's also Ghostbusters 2, yeah, actually.
And it's also Horizon Forbidden West.
Oh, shit, okay. Okay. And then, so you see multiple times of stuff where, like, it looks like you had done something before, like you're reliving a scene and everything. And it turns out you constantly get put back on the world to get rid of the darkness. But if you and your crew messes up, the world gets reset completely.
Huh.
So there are multiple times where all the characters are like, God, this seems familiar. I think I know that guy. Have we done this before? And it's because y'all have, because it's constantly resetting. But after a while, your crew is all kind of gains sentience and teams up with one of the bad guys. And they're like, you know what, guys? We're going to team up and we're going to make Jack the big bad guy. So this whole chaos person that you're hunting for the whole time, and then Jack, the main guy, is constantly like, we got to find chaos. It's just him. He eventually becomes chaos. This is all just a thing where they're conditioning and training him to become chaos. So at the very end, you just sit up on a throne, and then all the bosses are actually just your friends, just reincarnated. So Jack becomes Garland. He takes on his family name, and then he's like, well, you know what? We got to become the bad guys to really actually fix the world. So we're going to train the Warriors of Light by being the bad guys so that they save the world instead.
Why not?
Fuck.
And then
Checks out.
You and the princess that you hang out with in the beginning, he's like, yeah, you know what? I love you. I'm going to kidnap you. And then she's like, well, that'd be cool. I guess my dad might send his army and everything after you. And then they do. That whole scene that they play in the beginning of that game is just the actual ending of the game. And then it turns out they're in on the whole thing at the very beginning, where it's like, all right, I guess we're in love now. It's actually beautiful chaos.
You're right, it
chaos
fucks.
and bullshit.
Yeah, that's
it fucks. Yeah.
And the whole time he like hands her, it's like, here, have my egg. And then she's like, what does this do?
you just move the slider up and it vibrates a little bit.
I feel like that Square spoiled a lot of this on social media. Maybe not the specifics of that stuff, but like for a while now, their accounts have been talking about like, hey, here's Jack Garland. And you're like, wait, what the fuck are you?
Yes,
I
knew that, like, when he eventually said it, like, I'm gonna take on my family name, I think about, like, wait a minute, Garland's the name of the bad guy in one, and then
the first bad guy in one,
one of the first bad guys, and then it's just, I'm thinking now that, like, God, when I played Final Fantasy 1, not when it actually came out, but when I eventually visited it, I was taking on the guy that would constantly listen to Limp Bizkit and Frank Sinatra.
Yep.
And then I killed all his friends. And then like they were like, hey, Jack, just go ahead and kill us, bro. It is an interesting thing, and I know that I've finished it now and that I am free from it. But I don't think there's any more story to it. I think I've squeezed out everything, but I kind of want to keep going back to it.
Wow.
Because the combat, after all the story bullshit, it's actually pretty fun. Yeah. It makes me want to check out Neo, maybe either of the Neos.
Oh yes, yeah, we'll talk.
Yeah, and then
dude,
like
Jen, don't act like you're doing this drug that we disapprove of. Okay, like you are allowed to like this game. I'm happy that you like this game.
I'm not
happy. Not heroin.
No,
so
I'm
right
not
on,
happy
dude.
about this. I'm not happy about this.
Well, then I take it all back.
That being said, the Dark Knight character, it's great. You just smash shit with an axe. It's fantastic. The other classes, they're really well done, and there's a lot of variety in the different like expert jobs that you eventually unlock. I haven't tried out the final job that unlocks when you beat the game, but then just they're so fully into this that it's hilarious and amazing that there's portions of Final Fantasy VII Remake and there's portions of Kingdom Hearts where they're kind of like not fully committing to everything, but here they are like both feet in the water and we are knee deep at this point. And then I'm intrigued, and I'm also kind of terrified that I hope this game does well for like the developer's sake and everything, right?
Yeah.
But I'm terrified at the prospect that this will become a side series where they explore every single bad guy in Final Fantasy.
God.
Yo,
can you imagine?
You know the clown dude that people love? Let's talk about the clown boy. And that's
you gave me 30 hours of clown dude.
30 hours of clown dude. And then like, hey, you want to y'all like Orin from 10? Let's talk about Orin, but like as a toddler, and it turns out he's not a
figure and how he got that way. And
exactly, he's a manifestation of all the hatred and kimonos in the world.
100 hours of Kefka.
I might play that though. I might play that. I'm part of the problem. I'm part of the problem. Like, yo, they could do a whole game about crystals. It's like, hey, you want to know how these crystals got made?
I think they've already done they've already done several whole games about crystals at this point.
But how the crystals started.
Yeah.
Okay. All right.
Oh man.
Well, you see one character holds this bucket, right? And there's a miasma.
Fun words.
That's as far as I've gotten. I don't know. We thought miasma would be fun. And yeah. I don't know. That's
well,
exciting.
Jan,
I'm sorry.
that was some bullshit.
It's and I think Nomura is probably just getting more. He's becoming more emboldened with each success of this, because still upon completing this game, I'm still not 100% sure that they knew that none of this was being taken seriously or none of this was playing seriously. Because at one point during when Jack and the princess share their love scene where he jokes around about kidnapping her, his voice changes. His voice like goes away from the sick gravelly one to like, hey, I love you and stuff. Let's talk about marriage and maybe a 401k where we settle down. And then he kicks back into it after he gives her the egg crystal. I feel like I've spoiled the game, but I also feel like none of this has made sense.
Yeah, it's unspoilable.
Yeah, no, I'm all for it. I still have it installed. I've just been working on other stuff and haven't been able to get back to it. But I still now I need to.
It's amazing.
And you rocked that fedora for 2/3 of the game.
The whole time after getting that fedora, I think I even got a better fedora at one point. I just didn't care because I would just dismantle everything else except that fedora. Like, it's a level 37 fedora. I think I wound up being like, oh god, I don't even remember what level I finished off on, but I was still rocking a level 37 fedora throughout my whole time in that game, and it would just pop up in every stupid cutscene. Every single, like, all this expository talk and everything, and he's still wearing the fedora. I was really upset when he took off the fedora in like some of the end scenes, but I guess thematically, or not even thematically, just like timeline wise where they were, he wouldn't have encountered the fedora yet. So
okay, yeah, pre-fedora. Well, now I'm gonna have to play it and at least get one fedora, if not fedoras, for my entire posse.
You're very close to the fedora.
I went back and I replayed that level in hopes of getting a fedora. Nada. I'm gonna have to keep replaying it.
Yeah.
I'm sorry to doom you on this quest.
Well, that's awesome. I'm glad to hear that game panned out as well as you could maybe hope, considering how fucking ridiculous that thing seemed out of the gate.
It just seems like the perfect encapsulation of the phrase "bless this mess."
Sure.
Where it's like they made something, and then I am really curious to hear how it plays when you're listening to it in Japanese,
right?
And like, does any of this like play super seriously? Is this an actual drama for someone else that it got lost in translation when it came to English, I need to know. I need someone to report to me, please.
What is that version of the game, and is it notable in any way if it's played super seriously?
Yeah.
And all that sort of stuff. Yeah, that's
Also, I have a quick question, because it's been a long time since I played Final Fantasy 1. At any point, did you go to space?
No, that's 4. Well, 2.
Right?
Yeah. Number 2, 4.
Yeah.
Why? What's your space question
big
about?
space whale.
Because 1, from my memory, it's just high fantasy, right? It's all just fantasy stuff, like bards.
You get the airship, so it's like there's still kind of
right. Like the airships is the extent of like any modern technology, right?
There's
a
lot of technology throughout that franchise, obviously.
Right.
But I'm trying to think of the first game.
I'm pretty sure no.
Yeah. I don't know that there's that much.
Yeah, because maybe like 2 hours after where we ended playing through on the pirate ship, you go to space just cause.
Okay. Nice. Okay. Yeah, that's not what happens in the game.
No. Okay. All right.
But it's always an option. I mean, space is still there.
Space is always there.
It's not going anywhere.
Yeah.
That's awesome. Chaos. Truly chaos.
Yeah, thanks for that.
Yeah. Finally, it's about time they finally made another good Final Fantasy game. We've got this and we've got 14 and that's it.
There's some people that would 100% get behind that.
I guess they're great. I mean, like you said, there's a more modern Final Fantasy fan that doesn't even have any of these kind of touchstones back to the original games.
Right.
Where this is their first encounter with any kind of Garland, any kind of Final Fantasy 1 related stuff.
God, because when did 12 come out?
Oh man, I don't know. It came out in
06.
Yeah, 2006.
There's a whole group of people that was their start, and they were like, not all of these have bunny ladies. What the heck?
Right. Yeah. Not all these have characters that jump off the screen for a while and then come back and hit a dude.
Oh man,
that's my version.
Where's my dragoons?
Yeah. So does this make you want to go back? Because they did those pixel remasters.
Yeah.
Are you going to go play Final Fantasy 1 now?
But aren't those all bad? I feel like I'd have to just...
I have heard that the new releases are maybe not terrible.
Right.
But...
and you can... I don't know if the Steam support workshop or Steam Workshop support, but you can change the font to something that's a little more traditional as opposed to the updated like fucking Courier or whatever the fuck they're using. I don't know.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I have heard that the pixel remasters are pretty good, and people in chat seem to be backing that up. So,
all right, maybe if there's like a turbo button to just jump up the speed, I'm down.
Mm-hmm.
Probably, yeah. I think there wasn't 6.
Yeah, well, I mean, if you got to go fast, then we'll see how it goes. Nice. Sonic the Hedgehog 2, a film.
Yes.
Not released on a Tuesday.
No.
Nope. No more of that shit.
They fucked that up. They had their shot at Sonic Tuesday. Jan and Bakalar, you both have seen Sonic 2, the film.
Yes.
Tell me about it. It was one of those things where the reviews were maybe a little mixed, but I don't know that I've seen any people talking shit about it other than saying like maybe it's not as good as the first one, or just like some minor quibbles, but it sounds like it's pretty good.
Yeah.
So I mean, just straight up, is it fun to watch? Is it good in that way? Yeah, it's fun. It is a good, fun movie like that. Mm-hmm. And it did what the first one did for me. And and as someone who's the father of a 7-year-old who has seen the first one now probably 38 times, you understand like this is really not for me, not for someone in their 30s or 40s perhaps, but enough so that you can enjoy it with multiple generations of people.
Sure,
which I think is like the best part about this.
That is cool.
And Sonic as a movie character is like less a video game adaptation is what I've sort of decided as well. Like Sonic is now a fucking hedgehog from space, and there are plenty of people who could not give less of a shit about Green Hill Zone, right?
Sure.
They just we have to make peace with that and move on, because that is the way evolution works.
I'm all for it, right? Because if you think about it, Sonic the Hedgehog games have sucked for decades.
Yeah, I mean,
if Sega themselves had been better stewards of this franchise, then maybe this would be a different conversation. But instead, it took these external forces to come out and say, like, hey, there's aspects of this that people might actually want to get into. And we're going to make it into something that people are going to actually enjoy.
Sure.
Instead of cranking out dog shit.
Yeah. And give credit to Ben Schwartz, who has found a way to be like the most likable you that lends himself so perfectly to Sonic in a way that you're just sort of like, this is great, and you just want to hang out with Sonic in the way you probably just want to hang out with Ben Schwartz. Like, seems like hanging out with Ben Schwartz would be real cool, right?
Yeah.
Seems like a real laid back dude.
Sure,
very funny. Seems like, yeah, let's do that. We can arrange that. Let's do that, right? And that is injected into like Sonic's DNA in a real great way. So Jim Carrey I love that they just let him be Jim Carrey.
What did your kid think of Jim Carrey? Because, the Sonic franchise may be a lot of kids' first introduction to Jim Carrey. Yeah,
it is. Again, to be clear, I watched this movie in a theater with 37-year-olds.
37-year-olds?
No, not like a bunch of 37-year-olds. 30 space 7-year-old boys and girls. And some of the parents who were there, when Jim Carrey comes on screen, everyone's like, like a fucking Ace Ventura and all that shit. And when he comes on screen for all those boys and girls, it's Dr. Motherfucking Robotnik, who doesn't have a real life actor name. Okay. And he's but it's great. I mean, he's great.
In his biggest grossing film role to date.
Amazing.
Biggest opening, right?
Biggest opening, yeah.
It's crazy. And I love that. I mean, I think that is so special that the same nuances and absurdities that we enjoy Jim Carrey for when we were, well, maybe not 7, but in our early teens and whatnot, is the same shit that these kids are eating that stuff up. It's like, he's just doing it, and I love that, and he seems like this ageless sort of dude right now, which is kind of great. Here's my only, so we don't have to get into like the super granular details, and I want to hear what Jan has to say as well. The only thing that I really feel like this movie missed out on is that there are half a dozen opportunities for them to have genuinely used actual sound effects from the game in a way that like it wouldn't have done anything in terms of compromising the storytelling. Like, no one would have been, what the fuck was that? How could, right? Now, I will describe to you a scene that doesn't spoil anything, but you need to have the context to know whether or not they should have used this very specific, iconic sound effect.
Okay.
Sonic's underwater.
Oh, yes.
Okay. Motherfucker can't breathe.
I was waiting for it the whole time.
I was waiting. It's been a bad way, right? He's down there. At the last minute, he sees an oxygen bubble peep up from the bottom of the ocean floor. Mm-hmm. It's a huge bubble, and he slurps up the bubble. Now, my friends, what noise should they have played when that happened?
Yeah, I mean,
that whoop up, right?
Yeah.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
I don't even know what they did. They maybe it was like or something like that. I don't know what it was, but how, like, I just don't understand like how that doesn't happen.
They also did not use the music too.
They didn't. They used it for like handsome guy's ringtone.
Mm-hmm.
They did like the right.
Yeah. Okay.
As is great, big deal.
Sure.
I don't know. It wouldn't have done anything. They played plenty of little they planted a bunch of Easter eggs for people like us who would appreciate it. They did the idle Sonic animation in one little thing. They did a lot of that fun stuff. What and there were, and I could have sworn in a trailer I heard like the bumper noise that they use sometimes.
I swear they did.
Right? I could have sworn I like the bumper in like Casino Zone or wherever it is. And it wasn't in the final cut of the film. And I just like sat there flummoxed. I was just sort of like, how could this have happened? Like they've done such a good job with this.
I feel like they've transcended it. They don't need it.
But like
they could do it.
But they didn't transcend all the other. What's that?
They're cheap ops, like not knocking that, the effectiveness, but that would have been an easy win for them. An easy win.
Yeah, I
agree.
Again,
I'm agreeing with you, Bakalar.
No, totally. Like it would have been such an effortless thing. But again, that does not take away anything from the film. Overall, I really enjoyed it. There's a couple scenes here and there where I'm just like, oh, right, this is a kid's movie. But Jan, I would love to hear your take as well, please.
As a Sonic fan, I am so happy that we finally have superiority over other video game films.
Yeah, it's true.
Because in the same way where, both Jeffs have mentioned that I feel like the Sonic franchise has transcended itself in terms of these movies, I feel like the Super Mario movie is going to have to heavily rely on everything that people expect from a Mario game. Like,
it's the underdog,
right?
Like, as far as I'm concerned right now, like it has a lot of catch up to do.
Yeah. And then
yes.
I don't know. I'm just thinking about this. I guess I'm in a weird stage of my life where I think like, man, like my future child is going to be blessed to have actually good movies based on video games, where like I'm not going to have to like second guess taking them to this, and that like it's going to be like a fun ride through and through and everything. And then, I was a little, my one disappointment here is that we did not get another Sueco song.
You know what?
Yeah.
That was noticeably absent from the credits as well. The final credits did have a fun song.
By Kid Cudi, I believe.
Yeah.
Okay. All right.
Yeah.
But it wasn't Sueco in a way that like, I personally was upset.
Sueco has kind of moved on from hip hop and is maybe more into that pop punk kind of thing.
Sure. Would have worked.
And I think that probably would have worked as well. But
the other minor drawback is I forget if it's like the post-credit stinger or whatever, but I feel like this series has done such a good job at paying homage to how the series starts, because they actually use Dr. Robotnik, but that's interchangeable with Eggman and whatnot.
Yeah.
And they do the whole Knuckles arc, I guess, and that jazz. I wish the thing that they teased was different than what we are going to get. And I don't want to spoil it for anything.
Oh, you mean the stinger? Like what the stinger was?
Yes, what the stinger was.
Yeah.
I wish it was a different entity, we'll say.
Sure, I get it. I feel like we're skipping over a little bit of Idris Elba.
Oh, Idris Elba was fantastic.
What is the Knuckles quotient here? Give me the KQ of this film.
Yeah, I was
just like I guess like up until now, you kind of know Sonic's attitude and his deal, right?
Yeah.
He's just sort of like, he's like a big sort of child, right?
Tails. Goku energy.
Tails is basically obsessed with Sonic, just wants to fucking hang out with him as much as possible and help him in any way. And then Knuckles, I didn't know what Knuckles' attitude sort of was, because I'd never really, and again, I'm not saying the movie did, Jan, would you say that this movie invented his personality?
No. It's very similar to how Knuckles is portrayed in Sonic media.
So Knuckles has this sort of like, I am basically a robot and only understand like very like these sort of absolutes in life, right?
Yes.
And he's just like almost very like I said, robotic in a way, and he's like super powerful. He's a bit narrow-minded at the start. And obviously all that becomes malleable and flexible, and he changes and whatnot. But like the delivery that Idris Elba gives him, and the sort, like, it's just not for a second where you're sort of like, who's this Joker? It was like, I think that was the best part of this sequel, is how well they nailed the Tails and Knuckles kind of addition to it, which is just sort of like, it just felt like it just felt like home. It just felt really good.
Yeah.
I thought I had read this before, or read what the post-credit sequence was before, and I just went and looked it up to confirm. And I just want to say, what the fuck is wrong with you? That's exactly what needs to happen.
No, I want the other one.
Yeah, I think we'll have to talk about this off air, but the other one, I don't know if we're talking about the same other one. I don't know if that makes more sense in this world, but sure, why not? What the fuck makes sense, right? Yes,
I'm sure. This is a kids movie. I'm gonna stop talking.
Yeah, it should have been Sonic.exe. It should have been Sonic.exe, right? Like that's who it should have been. Yeah, so I really enjoyed it. I gotta say, like I was smiling for a very long time during this movie.
I don't know. I forget why the movie begins in Seattle. I feel like we are going to go to Vegas. Sonic is going to go to Vegas in the next movie because they got to do the casino zone and everything. They're going to do it.
It seems like we're setting up for that. They did kind of like the temple stage.
Yeah.
In this one, like
the water level.
We're in it. Fun.
Nice.
It's just fun. And just to reiterate, like it really takes a big sort of it's a big pill to swallow for me personally, having grown up with, Sonic 1 through Knuckles being such a huge and integral part of my childhood and playing those games. And then having a kid who's just sort of like, Dad, I need you to know that I could not care less about those games. Okay. They mean nothing to me.
What about the Sonic the Hedgehog area in Roblox? Is that
I don't know if you've seen
interesting?
It.
Yeah.
I don't know if you've seen it. Like I have like an animation cell in his room that's basically just like a cutout version of Green Hill Zone, 1-1. And he like loves that. And he loves the art of that. And then when I like put the controller in his hands, he's sort of just like, literally go fuck yourself, Dad. Like he could not care less.
The correct response.
And it's just wild to me. It really is. Now look, I feel like we maybe perhaps look at those first 4 games through a bit of rose-colored lenses, right? I think like, as far as platforming goes, maybe those are not like the best. And those are games that I don't find myself wanting to replay in a way that every now and then I'll play like Mario 3 and just sort of be like, all right, this game still fucking rocks. Like, so yeah, maybe I get it. I don't know, but that's what Sonic has evolved into, my friends.
Yeah,
it's great.
Awesome.
Wow.
That's I should see those movies at some point
for the whole family, Jeff.
That's right. No, my daughter's been grabbing controllers here and there, and so I actually did have Sonic 1 loaded up at one point, and she picked it up and just hammered it on all the buttons for a while and just threw the controller down and walked away. I was like, yeah, exactly. Good. Yeah, good. So, we're getting there. Why don't we take a break? We'll come back and we'll get into some news.
All right.
People don't always realize that physical symptoms like headaches, teeth grinding, and even digestive issues can be indicators of stress. And let's not forget about, doom scrolling, sleeping too little, sleeping too much, undereating, overeating, all that sort of stuff. Stress can mess with you in so many different ways. Whether you're like, if you're like me, you like to lay awake at 3 a.m. and go, I'm angry about this, and this needs to change. I need to do this. This is complete BS. And then you're not sleeping, and then you're waking up tired, and there's a whole thing. Stress shows up in all kinds of ways. And in a world that's telling you to do more, sleep less, and get on the grind all the time, maybe you just need a reminder, and here it is. Take care of yourself. Maybe just, do a little less, and maybe try some therapy. Now, therapy, okay, that can be a big step. You got to go to the house. No, BetterHelp. BetterHelp is customized online therapy that offers video, phone, and even live chat sessions with your therapist, so you don't have to see anyone on camera if you don't want to. It can be more affordable than in-person therapy. Give it a try and see if online therapy can help lower your stress. This podcast is sponsored in part by BetterHelp, and you can get 10% off your first month at betterhelp.com/Bombcast. That's BETTERHELP.com/Bombcast. Food that's fast doesn't have to be fast food. Freshly offers quality meals without the hard work. Now, these meals are designed by nutritionists, cooked by chefs, and they delivered fresh. That means, you're getting like a box shipped to your door full of foods, all prepackaged, individually packaged meals. You put them in your fridge, and when you're ready to go, you take them out, you pop them in the microwave, and they're ready to eat in like 3 minutes. You know what I mean? You have a crazy long day, and you're just wiped. You're just done. Like you're not gonna sit and go like, okay, now I gotta get all these dishes out. I gotta prepare all this food. I gotta clean up after the whole thing. And it's all too tempting to just be like, hey, how about I get some garbage delivered to the house and then fill my body full of that? Trust me, that temptation is always there. Freshly is a solid alternative. The food is right there. It's already in your home. They ship it right to you. It is ready to go in a few minutes. You microwave it, pop it out. You let it cool, maybe blow on a little bit, cool it down, eat it, and move on. Because honestly, who has time for anything anymore? Freshly has a wide variety of stuff. They sent some of this over. They got a zingy buffalo chicken. They got a home style. They got steak peppercorn. You want a big old thing of mashed potatoes? You can get it. I mean, they tell you like, hey, maybe that's for multiple people, but they're not gonna know if you eat it all by yourself, man. They got a chicken tikka masala. Even if you just like, hey, I just need some chicken breasts, something real easy that I can throw, and maybe I got a side I can do, kind of meet me halfway. They'll do that for you as well. A nice tricolor beef lasagna, a barbecue bison burger served on some macaroni and cheese. There's a good variety. So, as you're getting this stuff shipped to your home, it's not like you're getting like the same 3 things. I mean, hey, if you like the same 3 things, Freshly will hook you up with that. But if you want a variety, they can hook you up with that as well. Use the Freshly website or the app to find meals that fit your lifestyle with plans that work for your dietary needs, preferences, tastes, family size, all that sort of stuff. They have over 50 nutritionist-designed entrees for you to choose from. They even have a new line of plant-based meals if that's your thing. So, skip some of that grocery shopping. Get some of those dirty dishes out of the way. They recommend, hey, maybe you put it on a plate so it looks nice and eat it on a plate, but you can eat it right out of the microwave package. I mean, come on. If we're gonna save dirty dishes, let's save dirty dishes, you know what I'm saying? Stop stressing about dinner. Right now, Freshly is offering $125 off your first 5 orders. Jeez. When you go to freshly.com/bomb, that's $125 off at freshly.com/bomb. We're back. And after some light discussion of the spoiler topic we did not want to get into, I'm just gonna say I'm right.
Because the cat should be in it. I agree.
They're right to have that post-credit sequence. That's the
okay.
It's the right direction to go.
They're probably gonna do both. You mentioned this, yeah.
I
I just want Sonic's brother and sister to come in so they can form a band.
Is that some Archie Comics business?
There's a whole cartoon.
Okay.
Oh,
all right. Because I know the guy that did some of the comic work is angry about some of this stuff because it's like they took my echidnas. These are like there's some, I don't know. So
the whole owl person, that's exclusive to the movie, or is that?
I don't remember an owl, and I read those comics as a kid.
Yeah. Okay. I didn't know. They kind of like really throw you a curveball at the beginning of that first movie if you're not familiar with like just the basics. They're just like, this owl mother. You're like, what the fucking okay. Yeah.
I will not stand though for this erasure of Sally Acorn. All right. Forget Amy. Forget Amy Rose. Forget Cream of the Rabbit. Rouge the Bat, Rogue the Bat, whatever you want to call her.
All right, now we're
Sally Acorn needs her time back.
Okay.
They got to get Jaleel White in the third one, though. They got to get Jaleel White.
Well, I mean, do they eventually just do, some kind of like Sonic
verse,
Spider-Verse kind of thing, and they just have like...
You have to earn that, though.
Yeah. If they get all the way down... Because it feels like some of these Sonic the Hedgehog stories are maybe not compatible with each other.
Sure.
So if they really want to tell them all, they're going to need some pocket universes and some other...
I just want Sonic to like just run by down a street and then he spills someone's ice cream. It turns out the guy turns around, it's just Jaleel White. I just want that little bit. And maybe he's wearing suspenders.
What joke do you want there? Do you want to go like, did you do that? Do you what do you want like like some kind of like Ben Schwartz stops and actually says, did I do that to Jaleel White? And then
no, please.
Oh,
Yes.
No.
Manifest this. I'm going to write a letter after the Bombcast.
Okay. All right. Our letter writing campaign is
that, or like he falls in love with someone named Laura.
Guys,
when can Sonic kiss human ladies? When are we getting to that movie? Do I have to wait for like Sonic the Hedgehog XXX parody? This ain't no Sonic the Hedgehog film, whatever.
It's going to be whatever the Knuckles TV show.
Okay. All right. Great. I'm holding out for the Knuckles TV show. They should do that.
They are.
Speaking of Sega, man, this is a weird story from the middle of the night last night out of Bloomberg, reporting that Sega is working on reboots of Crazy Taxi and Jet Set Radio as part of its Super Game initiative.
Ooh, that's all caps.
Yes, this is so if you remember a while back, Sega was like, hey, we're signing a deal with Microsoft for some Azure cloud stuff and blah blah blah. We want to make Super Game. And we've got our Super Game project and the Super Game initiative and all this other stuff. These two games are apparently part of that. They're very early in development, according to the reporting out of Bloomberg, so they could still be canceled. The reporting there is
caveat.
yeah, I know. Like, yeah. Any game that hasn't been announced yet can still be canceled. It's sometimes games get announced and get canceled. Which felt like I don't know. From the source that brought you the 4K Switch comes hey, they can still cancel it. I'm reporting this, but I don't know. Crazy Taxi has apparently been going for about a year and is still 2 or 3 years off, according to the reports. And this, they say the two titles would be the first entries in Sega's Super Game initiative, which the company announced a year ago as an effort to develop recurring revenue sources and build online communities around its software portfolio. Fortnite has become the role model for such games. Free to play, available across platforms, hosts large multiplayer contests, and includes extras like vehicles, construction, social events, blah, 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 blah. Fortnite is mentioned like 4 times in this story, including in the headline, and it's hard to get a sense of like how much of that is like Sega's plan. If that is like, is Sega sitting there going like, we're going to make a game that is as big as Fortnite, and here's what we're doing. Or if that's the reporter kind of interjecting like, hey, the size of which they want to make these games, maybe the closest touchstone is a Fortnite. Like it's hard to get a sense of from the story, like where the Fortnite references are coming from, because it feels a little weird to be making games and saying like, we want to make a Fortnite in literally 2022.
Well, I mean, there doesn't seem to be quotes around Fortnite anywhere in this story.
Yeah. Yes. So I'm assuming that is kind of the reporter maybe putting some of that onto this, because because look at
the Bloomberg audience.
Yes.
Right?
Exactly.
Like,
the non-gaming audience over at Bloomberg is going to understand like, oh, they want to make a Fortnite. They want to make a big video game. A Fortnite.
I love that Fortnite is just like the catch-all for like success.
Yeah, it's like how Minecraft was.
Video games have come a long way since the bleeps and bloops of Pac-Man, and they're not just for kids anymore.
You realize the milestones along the way now are like fucking Pong, Mario, and Fortnite, and that's it.
Yeah, I think I mentioned before, I did a phone interview back when we were still working in an office with someone who I was from some news organization, apparently, probably. And I found myself like, you know, like it was a lot of the questions were about Fortnite and all the other stuff. And I found myself thinking a lot about Pac-Man Fever, both the song and the phenomenon.
Sure.
And it literally was this feeling of like, well, Minecraft got there. I guess Pokemon got there in a way, but maybe Pokemon didn't bring in the Pokemon kids grew up and kept playing it. It wasn't necessarily that Pokemon was an all ages phenomenon out of the gate.
Yeah, we're all here.
Yeah. And so, yeah, like in a lot of ways, Fortnite is the next Pac-Man in a lot of ways.
Whoa.
What a weird sentence.
That is a hell of a sentence.
It is. Yeah. Like it was just a weird thought process of like, yeah, I guess, I mean, when I think about how big Pac-Man was and how it was bringing people outside of the typical arcade demographic into the arcades, my mom went with us to the arcade for a brief period of time to play some Pac-Man.
She had heard the song and was like, I want Fever too.
I actually just bought I bought a gigantic Pac-Man book recently. Crazy Taxi and Jet Set Radio are not those franchises.
No.
Oh yeah.
Point blank. Like I love those games, certain iterations of those games, and I love the ideas of those games maybe more than how they are executed at times.
Mm-hmm.
At
this point, just combine them.
Sure. Yeah. I don't know. Let me sketch on the back of a taxi and then spray paint some stuff, and then you probably could do that. But I am hard pressed, and maybe this is just a lack of imagination on my part, how you get Crazy Taxi to Fortnite levels of success. And Jet Set Radio, a franchise that was always pretty far down the rabbit hole and not something you would ever consider to be a mainstream hit, this like highly stylized, very art heavy rollerblading graffiti game. Again, not necessarily like it's like conceptually remove it from what you know about Jet Set Radio up to this point and just take like the core tenets of what you think that franchise is about and go like, could this be Fortnite big? I don't fucking see that at all. Like that seems crazy to me. So not to say that they couldn't be big games and that they couldn't make them into things that are, you know, like mainstream, you know, like mainstream touchstones, blah, blah, blah. But like this whole story just reads as really weird to me, I think largely because they bring Fortnite up so many times in the article. And
do taxis matter to kids anymore, or is it all just Uber and Lyft?
I was going to ask that.
Crazy Uber.
Uber.
Yeah, that's
and like rollerblading. Who the fuck is rollerblading nowadays?
Huge.
That's still going on,
baby.
Okay.
Still a thing. Yeah.
Soul skaters, baby.
Mm-hmm.
All right.
I don't know about that. Yeah, like do kids like The Offspring? You know, these are the questions we have to ask.
Y'all got kids. You got to ask them after this.
I am not going to play any Offspring songs for my children in fear that they like it and that I have to hear it. There's been enough Blues Traveler played in this house for a lifetime for me. I claw my ears off my body if I have to hear Runaround one more time.
Oof. I mean, Smash is a good album.
The Offspring's okay. Offspring's okay. Certainly better than Blues Traveler.
Yeah, I mean, they're just totally different bands.
Yes, absolutely.
They're just very difficult to compare.
But god damn it, man. All right. Fuck Blues Traveler. Moving on.
I don't know what it is. I think when I went to summer camp, I had a counselor who was obsessed with Blues Traveler. And there's one song called Optimistic Thoughts that is stuck in my head forever. I'm talking like 25 years ago. It was my first exposure to this song. And it's just always there. And it shows up in the Spotify playlist and it just cannot leave my brain. They're fine. I don't know. I think of like Farrelly Brothers movies when I think of Blues Traveler. I think of like Kingpin. You know?
That's a bummer because I like Kingpin. When I think
Kingpin's
about Kingpin,
great.
I feel warm thoughts. But if I had to attach to Blues Traveler, I'd be like, fuck Kingpin.
Well, yeah. Hence, there's a fondness that the transitive fondness property. Yeah.
Yeah.
Money is on the table. We need to figure out if your offspring likes Offspring.
All right.
Ooh, I bet my kid would like, come out and play.
Yeah, sure.
Who can't get down with that bass riff?
Sure, yeah. She's been real big into a lot of different versions of row your boat.
Sick.
Oh shit.
Yep. So I've had to go through 20 versions. She hears the first 4 seconds and goes, put on another one, please. I'm like, okay, how about this one? No, put on another one, please. And so it's been
too many choices, these kids.
Yeah, I've narrowed it down to the 3 versions of row your boat that she seems okay with, and we're gonna stick with those. Video Games Chronicle translated a bit from, I guess, some Sega recruiting info a while back. It's a quote from Suji Asumi, who says, a super game needs 4 main things. So this is the guiding tenet of the super game initiative.
Given to me.
That it is to be multi-platform, global multi-language development, simultaneous worldwide release, and AAA titles. In other words, you can imagine that
tangible. Yeah. Something tangible.
Yeah. You can imagine that the scale of game development will be that of a global blockbuster. So none of that says, hey, it's free to play. None of that says, hey, it's, like the kind of like mass market stuff of again, when you think about a Fortnite. So this story is weird, and it's hard to get a sense of like what is really like. Does Sega honestly think they're going to take Jet Set Radio and turn it into something that is Fortnite large? Because that's fucking delusional. And I say that as someone who is excited about the idea of a Jet Set Radio reboot, even though my fear is that it will be an absolute shit show.
Yeah.
Emotionally pulled in a lot of directions by this story. It's a really strange.
It is. It reads like we here at Sega have been sleeping for 17 years.
Well, yes. In a lot of ways, yes. They kind of have been. When it comes to a lot of their franchises, they've definitely been like, oh, I don't know, we're not going to do any more of those. I feel like people don't like ninjas anymore. We're not Shinobi. Come on.
Space Channel 5 might be easier to blow up. If anything, put a ooh la la in Fortnite and make her do TikTok dances.
I mean,
yes, ooh la la VTuber, like run by Sega.
Yeah.
Okay.
Sure.
Yeah. I think Jet Grind Radio, right? Whatever, and Crazy Taxi. I feel like we might be slightly under appreciating the pervasiveness of those games, right? Which is fine, just because like it was a much narrower sort of landscape when those games came out. And I think there's a lot of people who have an attachment or some indirect attachment to those 2 franchises. But your point still stands.
I mean, we're talking about franchises that defined the Dreamcast, a console that fucking failed its way out of the market in 2 years. I mean, if we're being honest, like, obviously Crazy Taxi has an arcade footprint, and then it went on to appear on other platforms. Jet Set Radio Future was like the last one of these, and that was an original Xbox game,
right?
That hasn't shown up anywhere else since. So like that, there are people that have a huge fondness for that, but it's not a mainstream kind of number.
Sure.
And when I think about what the Jet Set games have been, that's where it just gets hard to be like, I don't see how you turn this into a gigantic, massive, worldwide success. Stranger things have happened, but like I just conceptually, I would love for them to make one of those, and I think they absolutely should. I don't think it's going to be Fortnite big.
Sure. I say this partially as a joke, but do you think Sega is kind of hedging their bets on how fashion and pop culture has kind of become super cyclical, how we're currently, fashion at least for the youth is heavily 90s inspired, that we're slowly approaching the 2000s again, and that type of nostalgia, they can just bank off that with something like a Crazy Taxi or a Jet Grind Radio, perhaps.
The time, if not now, it is yeah, I mean, maybe in a mainstream sense, it's still a little ways off, but I mean, there's been like the Y2K aesthetic blogs and all this other stuff. Like that stuff's been kicking around for a long time now. And so, yes, I feel like that is due some time, but I feel like what you do there is like, do you make new games, or do you say like, we've done some good up-reses of these Dreamcast originals, and here you go. I don't know what the right answer is there.
Yeah.
But whatever. These are two games I would be very happy to see new Crazy Taxi and new Jet Set Radio games coming out. I guess is the point here. It is just when framed as, hey, we've been talking about the Super Game Initiative and how we're going to make this gigantic thing. Like for these to be the first two games that kind of leak out around that concept. It's like, okay, cool. Cool.
Good luck. Yeah.
Awesome. Yeah, sure. I will happily await those games. But like these, yeah. Jet Set Radio is a game that like you hope maybe gets like Stranger of Paradise big, right? It's not.
Oh yeah.
You know, like it's like that level of sales, that level of large. It's not service game, big cosmetics forever kind of. I don't know. It's a weird one. Also weird. Maybe not that weird when you think about how much money Sonic the Hedgehog 2 just made. But in other Sega news, apparently there is a Streets of Rage movie in development.
Ooh.
Okay.
Cool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's just like Double Dragon. That'd be great.
Oh yeah, Mark. The line is there.
Dacascos?
The line is there. Mark Dacascos, the guy that made John Wick. Mark Dacascos is in John Wick 3. He could totally be in the Streets of Rage.
Yeah.
Yes. So this is being the script was written on spec by Derek Kolstad, who is the creator of John Wick and who also wrote the script for Nobody, the Bob Odenkirk movie.
Okay.
This is according to Deadline. And so there's some chops here. The producer of Sonic, DJ2 Entertainment, is involved to produce. And so, you know, they've already got a pipeline to Sega to say like, hey, we just made a fuck ton of money. Let's do it with this.
That's nuts. I did no word on the composer yet, right? Like,
yeah, no, they'll fuck it up again, just like Streets of Rage 4 did. Yeah. What are we doing?
I'm so here for it.
I guess like if you boil it down, Streets of Rage is just like what? It's like a gritty ex-cop on the ropes has to fight his way through the city to save his girlfriend from Mr.
Like those movies have been done to death, but a long time ago.
Streets of Rage was based on those movies that came out before it, and you know, so it's cool in a way to like the idea of that coming back around.
Mm-hmm. But I think they would my knee-jerk reaction of like what the cinematic adaptation of this is sort of like leaning into that kind of campiness in a way that that is how they can work this, especially if you're telling me like Mr. Wick is gonna, you know, be behind this. I feel like there's a self-awareness you know, and lack of seriousness that would really lend itself well to something like this, probably.
Do you think I guess the thing I look at is like I would be interested in this movie if it was rated R.
No, it's not going to be.
And it's not going to be.
You don't think so?
No, it's going to be like a light PG-13.
It doesn't say that, but I think it is. If we're looking at the Sega, we just made a bunch of money in the movies formula with Sonic, they're going to go like, well, this is obviously not going to be a kid's film, but
yeah, but I mean, they're getting Mr. Wick, right? So like, I think there's a bit of, I guess it's a toss-up, right? I don't know.
I mean, the Streets of Rage is not a children's property, nor was it ever. But those kids that did play it are much older now, and they're wise to the John Wick franchise.
Yeah, like
who knows?
I think
who knows?
I think maybe PG-13 makes like a.
I think that's where you end up. You probably end up with a PG-13 here. Or maybe this ends up going direct to streaming or something, because honestly, the idea of like putting this on like 2,000 screens.
Oh,
hey, it's the Streets of Rage movie.
Remember the
Like,
King
you
of
remember
Fighters
that, right?
movie?
And you're like,
Jesus.
What?
What? It's King of Fighters movie?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, there's a lot. Yeah.
I know what I'm doing later.
Oh, you want to go down that rabbit hole? There's a lot.
You wanna? Yeah, you could watch some Dead or Alive, which I stand by.
Well, that
I
I
stand by
know.
that.
I don't know about that. DJ2 Entertainment is also looking to adapt It Takes Two for television and film.
That's a hard R. That's a hard R.
Yeah, that's hard.
Yeah, that
And
one's
they have
hard.
an
Deals with
Amazon
divorce, come
deal,
on.
so maybe there's a chance that this just ends up going through that Amazon deal, and if it ever
Ends
even
up on
happens,
Prime.
right? I mean, look, we're still waiting for that Asteroids movie.
Aren't we?
Every day I wake up. Is there any
And
news
that
on the
game,
Asteroids
too.
movie?
Yeah, I've got
Didn't
Google.
that game get canceled?
Did they finally? Oh yes, the Asteroids survival game. Yes, that came out in early access, and they're like, we're not gonna make this anymore. But yes, yeah, I wake up, I look for info on the Asteroids movie. I wonder if they have finally confirmed John Cena as Duke Nukem yet, and I go about my day. They're also making a Minecraft movie, and according to Hollywood Reporter, Jason Momoa is in final negotiations to star in a live-action Minecraft movie.
Live action.
Noted block person.
Yes,
Right.
noted
Jason
Minecraft
Momoa.
Steve lookalike.
Whatever,
This
man.
this was not in my bingo card in any iteration of a bingo card ever.
Yeah, this is looking to be directed by Jared Hess, who made
Oh,
Napoleon Dynamite.
Yeah.
What? What? Yeah. This thing's been in development for so long; it's changed hands a lot of times.
You ever see Gentleman Broncos?
It's bad.
No, but that's a fun. Those are that's a fun 2 words.
It was like Jermaine Clement, Sam Rockwell, another Hess production. I think he directed it. Yeah, like I don't sure. Okay. I was actually wondering that the other day, like, where was this guy? You know.
Yeah, here he is. He is the
is.
latest name to be attached to the Minecraft movie, which I guess it says here, live action Minecraft movie. I don't know if they have said, I don't know if that's new news or not. I guess I had never really considered one way or the other what a Minecraft movie would be, other than some kind of Jumanji situation where they get sucked into, a block world, or I don't know.
I mean,
An
look,
isekai, perhaps.
You make a
Yeah,
movie.
sure.
You make a movie out of whatever you want to make a movie. I think the beautiful thing about Minecraft is that it's everything, right? Like
Yeah,
Minecraft
but then
is
like,
everything.
what are the defining things about Minecraft that you do when you make a movie, other than we need to look for diamonds?
Yeah,
And
we
it's
gotta
a bunch
like
of blocks
craft.
and creepers.
We have
Well,
to,
they
like,
had
build the crafting table.
the
and-
Netflix series, that like interactive one with like Patton Oswalt in it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
They
it's like
found
that,
a storyline around that.
Yeah,
Yeah,
for sure.
yeah.
For sure.
I don't.
You know what? I really love Nacho Libre, and I love the shit out of Jason Momoa.
Nacho Libre is good, man.
Yep,
Hmm.
love that movie. Maybe it'll be good. I don't know.
Yeah, maybe. I mean, it really is a blank slate in a lot of ways. So,
Yep.
like, I don't know that there's anything about the Minecraft IP that indicates whether it will be good or not. It's just like, okay, they're gonna have to survive, and it will be scary at night. Will the enemies be blocks? Will the creepers look like creepers do in the game, or will they make
You know,
weird?
I'm not worried.
I
think
It's 100%
It'll be-
going to be like a Jumanji situation. Jason Momoa wants to connect with his son. He tries playing Minecraft. He can't get it. And then he gets transported
sucked
into
into
Minecraft. Yep.
yeah.
Because his kid's hero, he thinks it's Steve, but really his kid's hero is his dad. Damn.
Yeah. Yeah.
Damn. It's like going all the way back to Cloak and Dagger.
Yep.
Yeah. Jason Momoa is the new Jack Black.
Heard it here first.
And the new Jack Black? I don't know. Nintendo has been pretty leaky lately. This is a leak from a different source than all the
Gross.
weird stolen stuff. Apparently pulled off of a console. I don't know if that means it's in the current firmware or what, but emulators for the Game Boy Advance and Game Boy Color
Ooh.
have leaked out and have been kicking around. It looks like this is an early framework for potentially adding those platforms to the Nintendo Online subscription, much like how they do N64 stuff and SNES stuff and all that sort. And much like those, there's the files that have been floating around do have a handful of games mentioned directly. This stuff looks like it came out in Nintendo Europe, the development aspect of it anyway. VideoGames Chronicle has kind of gone through some of the leak and seen what the list of games that have reportedly been tested include, and Ninja 5.0 is on the list, which I guess sell your copies of that right now, because if they're going to put it on the Virtual Console service, it'll be well, maybe that won't affect the actual rarity or price of that game, but that game is super expensive, so the idea that you might be able to officially play it again is a good one. WarioWare, the first WarioWare is on there. Wario Land 4, Metroid Zero Mission, Mega Man Battle Network 5.
Oh,
I need 3. I need 3.
They have
I
5 and they have
5?
2. A couple of Castlevanias, Aria of Sorrow and Circle of the Moon. That Astro Boy game.
That was
Golden
tight.
Suns. Yeah, Astro Boy's pretty good.
Golden Sun, baby.
Yeah.
I'll be so disappointed when this actually comes out.
Kururin, which is the spinning stick game.
Hell yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it's, be better if it was a limo, but what are you going to do? Kirby and the Amazing Mirror, Pokemon Pinball Ruby and Sapphire.
There we go.
Yeah. On the Game Boy Color side of things, it's a much shorter list, but apparently the build of that emulator that is floating around, I don't know where this came from. Again, the thing I saw seemed to imply that it was yanked off of a console, but that's as far as I got on it. I don't know if that means that it's like latent on everyone's console as part of the current firmware update or what, but the only 4 games referenced for the Game Boy Color emulator are Super Mario Land, which is not a Game Boy Color game, it's an original Game Boy game, Link's Awakening DX, Tetris, and Kicks.
Kicks?
Yeah.
Kicks, the
Flat
arcade
tiles,
classic.
yeah.
Coming
at you.
You remember all those arcade games that are emulated in MAME that all like have you drawing boxes and then behind it are naked ladies?
Oh, yeah.
Kicks is the game that they all ripped that off from, but Kicks doesn't have any of the naked ladies. It just has a cool twisting.
What's the point?
Kicks is a much better playing game than all of those other weird Gals Panic or whatever. So this would, again, the idea that these portables are going to come to the Nintendo Switch Online stuff is not new news. I feel like that's been speculated for a good long time, but this would appear to be a pretty solid signpost that work is being done to get that stuff going. Apparently, the code names of the emulators, the Game Boy emulator is referred to as Hiyoko, and the GBA emulator is referred to as Sloop.
Sloop John B.
Sloop. Yeah. So they appear to be developed by a French Nintendo team that has done some of their other emulation stuff, and we'll see when that stuff hits, assuming it's going to.
So this Zelda Minish Cap GBA cart I found in my basement today.
Yeah.
Garbage.
Yeah, throw it in the trash. You can't stick that into your Switch.
Do you think this is going to be an additional cost to the existing
Didn't they
Switch
just
online
do that?
service?
I think that they either fit this into the expansion pack or they fit it into the base tier.
Okay.
But I don't think they do. I don't think they add another additional. They can't.
It is my worry.
Possibly.
It's too soon to do that.
What do you even call it? Expansion of the expansion pack?
Advanced.
Like I don't.
Expansion Advanced or something? As it is right now, I have no idea what else is on that thing besides the Mario Kart DLC and the Animal Crossing DLC. So
it's the N64 stuff and the Genesis stuff is also behind that wall. But I think that's. I think that's it. I would assume that this goes in the expansion pack tier.
I would hope,
but no additional cost. This is probably just the Like, hey, instead of getting DLC, we're giving you this or something. I don't know. We will see. Maybe it all gets killed and never happens.
Aww.
Who could say? That's the Nintendo promise. Who the hell knows? The Bethesda Launcher, our favorite storefront for video games, is shutting down.
Yeah.
They have given some additional details on how that will work. The shutdown will occur on May 11th, but the transition will open on April 27th. And the story here is that they are going to give Steam keys to people who bought games on that launcher. And if you happen to already own the game on Steam, that you don't get anything. And Bethesda.net accounts will still matter. So will transition if you have like a currency, and I guess Fallout 76 is probably the only game of theirs that has I guess they did that thing for Skyrim, the creation coins, creationist, whatever it was, for buying mods. That went over well. All that sort of stuff will transition over in some form. Friends lists will be able to come in some way as well, but they are moving away from this launcher and this storefront, which, if you consider that they were bought by a company that manages a storefront and also puts its games on Steam, makes a lot of sense.
Yep.
One might argue they never should have got into this business in the first place, and by launching their own launcher, which was annoying as hell. But yeah, it looks like they're at least like making sure that those things transfer out of that launcher as a part of shutting that stuff down. What else is going on? Bungie has announced plans to remain digital first, is what they're referring to it as. I think at a time when a lot of studios and a lot of different companies are like, we want people back in the office. It was kind of interesting to see Bungie announce like, hey, no, we're going to stay remote. Most current and future roles will be fully remote, according to Polygon's redo of the news.
That's great.
Cool. But this is limited to a handful of states, which I thought was interesting. There's a lot of just weird ins and outs of like running a remote operation, in that you may have only done the work to operate in certain states. I think a lot of companies ran into this when like everyone worked at home for a long time and people just kind of scattered. Like, wait a minute, we can't. It's hard for us to pay you if you live in this state or whatever, for all the taxes and all that other stuff. So they've got a list of states that are okay: Washington, California, Oregon, Illinois, Florida, North Carolina, and Texas are the current approved states. But they're working on more to kind of open new locations and do all this other stuff. That seems like a very worker-friendly thing to do. I feel like the overwhelming consensus that I have seen is, as more and more companies start trying to force people back into offices, it's a lot of people going like, well, I'll just quit and go do something else if they're going to make me go back in an office. So,
right.
Yeah, I don't know. Good on Bungie. I guess good on Sony, I guess, in a way, because Sony is in the process of purchasing Bungie, and I don't know. Sure. I wonder if that means Polygon wonders about the same thing. If that means that other Sony studios will kind of end up going that route. I bet it ends up being something the studios determine for themselves, as opposed to a full-on mandate out of PlayStation. But we'll see. That's cool. That flexibility seems vital going forward. I don't know. The idea of everyone just like cramming back into an office after everything that's happened just seems really, really weird to me.
Yeah, that definitely has been the one good thing that I can think of, due to the pandemic, is this sudden shift in like the work from home environment. That's great.
Yeah, absolutely. Eric Wolpaw wants to make a Portal 3.
Who doesn't?
Let him do it.
Let him. Let's go.
Eric Wolpaw, I would love to make a Portal 3, but I didn't make Portal 1 or 2. He did. He is a co-writer on both of those games, as well as Psychonauts and Half-Life Alyx and Old Man Marie and so on and so forth on down the line. He appeared on the Kiwi Talks podcast And at the end of the show, just said, this is according to Video Games Chronicle, we got to start Portal 3. That's my message to whoever. I'm not getting any younger. We are reaching the point where it's crazy to think that we're literally going to be too old to work on Portal 3, so we should just do it.
I mean, that seems...
Listen to the guy.
That's confirmation
dire.
Right there.
Yeah.
How old is he? Come on.
Eric's not that. I mean, I'm guessing here, but I'm going to say he is potentially late 40s.
He's about.
Jeez, that better not be that old.
According
50,
to the internet.
All right, so
about
55.
Okay.
Still,
you just
not
Google
too
and then it
old.
doesn't even give a definitive thing. It just says about 55.
All I know is that I have always thought of Eric Wolpaw as someone who is probably older than I am, because he always seemed somewhat more responsible than me. That's my gauge for if a person is older or younger than me. So Jan is significantly older than I am.
Is it 12?
Yeah. Earlier in the podcast, he also kind of got into a little bit of this, what it sounds like working at Valve is really like, because earlier they did ask, like, if he'd like to make a third game. He said, oh yeah, I'd love to. I'd work on another Portal in a second, but I can't make it happen by myself. I can advocate for it. It might help a little bit, but the problem is that Valve has 300 employees. And I don't know what the breakdown is, how many of them are on the production side versus Steam business side versus legal and whatever. And then getting into, I think if you really want a sentence that defines, a few sentences that defines Valve's decision-making around games is, so there's a lot of opportunity cost to taking 75 people and trying to get a game made, as much as it seems like Valve often is just a bunch of people sitting around sipping gin and tonics by a pool. Everybody's working. They're working all the time. It's just you don't see the result if it doesn't always end up coming out or comes out years later or gets turned into something else. So you'd almost have to take them. I'm kind of paraphrasing a little bit here. I'm paraphrasing Video Games Chronicles article, which is paraphrasing, if that makes any sense. So you'd almost have to take them. It's like a revolution and stir up a bunch of people to leave what they're currently working on and come work on something else. In this case, it would be Portal 3. And it says, the problem is you would make money, but what kind of money will you make? Are you going to make Counter-Strike Go money? Probably not. But having said that, maybe every game doesn't need to make Counter-Strike Go money. Gabe, if you're listening.
Shots fired?
Yeah, something.
He's funning around. But yeah, Valve is a weird... Yeah, you hear all the time about how just like everyone at Valve, it's not a massive company, but they make a massive amount of money, and there's like intense pressure to be working on the quote unquote right thing all the time, and that maybe there can be some politics around that sort of stuff. Someone in chat bringing up In the Valley of the Gods. That seems like a game that definitely not going to happen. But again, if the right people get rallied in the right direction and all that other stuff, then, anything's possible. They've certainly got the resources to do it, but you have to then pull a bunch of people off of whatever the hell else they're doing and so on and so forth. Like, it's just a fascinating company. Every time you hear about it, it's like, I don't understand how that company gets anything done ever, let alone ship a fucking Steam Deck.
Right.
And kind of really haven't shipped it, but yeah.
Well, yeah, right. I mean, yes. But like I think that's kind of cool. Like it seems like could be very hellish, and if you end up on the wrong side of an argument, who knows what, like, I don't know, like maybe it's a little cliquish at times, but I find that fascinating in a way about like, hey, we're all just working on, there's so much stuff to do all the time, that to do this like pet project or this thing that like for the fans very much, people would want a Portal 3, of course.
Sure.
But the work it would take to get that many people excited about it and get it actually to be something that happens and all that other stuff, it's just weird. Fascinating. But I don't know.
I mean, they don't operate like any other company that I've heard of. So
just from the idea of another Portal game, I think there is definitely without a doubt, space for something like that again.
Gonna be all in VR.
Yeah, I don't.
Okay, I mean maybe, but
that would make me ill.
Yeah,
you have to play it with.
If they want a lot of people to play it, they won't put it in VR.
They're gonna put it on the Steam. You have to use both the Steam Deck and the Valve Index to play Portal 3. You need the combined power of both items.
That second game is so damn good.
Great.
You know what? God, how old is that game now?
Portal 2, yeah. I mean, didn't Portal 2 came out on the PlayStation 3, right?
Oh, wow.
11 years ago.
Yeah.
To the day.
Really?
April 18th.
Happy birthday.
2022.
Happy birthday to Portal 2.
Yeah. Eric was in his 40s back then. He's a young guy.
Yeah. Spry.
You know?
In the prime of his life. Psychonauts 2, only 5 years into development at that point.
Right? Just little babies.
Yeah. Yeah, but I guess like when I think about the sorts of decisions that Valve makes, it really, a lot of it comes down to like, well, what could we do that would make that unique and interesting? Like it can't just be, hey, we made another Portal. It's got to be, I mean, it's like how Half-Life Alyx happened, right? It's like, well, we make all this VR stuff. We should make an iconic. We should make the VR game to go with it, and they tried to do that and got that out the door. But like, I guess I'm surprised there was no full-fledged, brand new Valve game shipping alongside the Steam Deck.
Yeah.
I might have thought that there would be maybe Artifact was going to be that game at some point, like a card game, portable, perfect. This makes a ton of sense, like whatever. But like, yeah, what do you do with the Steam Deck? They did that short little kind of control demo thing. That's sort of like the thing they built for Steam VR. But there's no like full on. Well, Half-Life Alyx didn't ship alongside. I guess
I swear it did.
I guess it shipped alongside the Valve Index, right? But it didn't. Yeah, I guess that was their headset. But it didn't ship alongside Steam VR. The Vive had been kicking around for a while at that point, and and all that sort of stuff. So I guess, yeah. I always thought that we would have gotten the unified Portal Half-Life universe by now. I would have thought that Half-Life 3 would have happened and it would have been Gordon Freeman with a portal gun. And because all of the links between the universes and all that other stuff, that just seemed like a very natural thing for them to do.
It's almost when you say it out loud, it makes it sting even harder. You know?
Yeah. And then, yeah, at one point years ago, we talked to someone who had played a game that was to be Half-Life 3 that long got canceled. It's just like crazy, fucking crazy.
Okay, what do you think is going to happen first? A Half-Life movie or Half-Life Episode 3?
They will never They will never call something Half-Life Episode 3.
Okay.
I think if they go back to Half-Life, they will either call it Half-Life 3 or it will be Half-Life : something else, like Alyx was.
Okay.
But I wonder at this point, like, even if they have other Half-Life projects in mind, they probably never get called Half-Life 3 unless because it's such an unattainable.
I think you do it. Though. Like what? Like you're telling me if there really is a third actual Half-Life game, they're just going to be like Half-Life again.
Half-Life Gordon's
I mean, come on.
Yeah, I don't. They don't do it. Half-Life 2 was just the new number 2, right? It wasn't Roman numerals.
Correct.
Right.
I think they would just have a big number 3.
Either way, Chris Pratt is Gordon Freeman.
Okay. Yeah.
All right. What's next?
That's called Pivot, baby.
Yeah. Microsoft is working on in-game advertising, everyone's favorite.
They've been doing that for a while. What are we doing?
In-game advertising felt like the bane of our existences like 15-ish years ago. Like it was something that was going to be ubiquitous and it was going to be everywhere, and you're going to be playing a first-person shooter and look at a wall, and then suddenly a texter would pop in and it would be like, hey, you should go see this Jackie Chan movie or whatever, or hey, what if you got a soda later? And it kind of went away. I mean, the example everyone goes back to now is Burnout Paradise, which had billboards in it for the Obama campaign.
They were like contextually appropriate.
Yeah,
like, you know, in
it
a
was
way
like a
that
billboard in a world. Yeah, sure, like that makes total sense. As opposed to like some of the integrations that you saw hinted at prior to that were, like I said, it was just like, here's a texture on a thing that's going to pop in an ad while you're running through a first-person shooter and stuff like that. I always felt that Trackmania had a pretty decent. It was just like the area above the start. Like the would just have and for years it just had AM PM hot dogs on it. It felt like that was the only ad they ever sold for that thing. But they are apparently moving forward, according to a Business Insider report, on building an ad platform and potentially building a private marketplace where brands can get ads into games and that developers can also tap into this platform. And as Video Games Chronicles kind of looked at this Business Insider story as well, you know, it is the kind of stuff that we've seen. The idea of billboards in a racing game is certainly on the menu, but it you know becomes like, well, what's the larger play? Because it's not like there are even that many driving games anymore. So what do you do there? But, you know, you've got sports games, so you could be piping in live ads onto the outfield wall of a baseball game or whatever. But there's other stuff like, this is very shaky stuff. But again, it's something that I feel like it has been a gigantic boogeyman headed our way for decades, and it just kind of fell off, and you don't really hear about it anymore. Like, obviously, Street Fighter V had its Red Bull skins and whatever the hell else, and you do see some of those integrations showing up into things, but a marketplace that could be tapped into on either side seems both inevitable and gross, I guess.
Sure.
The Business Insider story says that it is moving very cautiously, and only certain brands that wouldn't disrupt a gameplay experience would be able to, inject their poison into the video games.
I wonder, like, how will they track what ads will be appropriate for the users, right? Because, you know, say you share an Xbox with your kid, and then your kid is getting ads for something not catered to them or whatever, or you suddenly are inundated with ads for something because the Xbox is used to your kid playing on it or something.
Right. Well, I guess I would probably not use signals of they know when a family account, like a child account, is logged in. So if you're sharing an Xbox account, that's not the way they want you to do it on an Xbox. They want you to make a separate account for your kid.
Right.
But I think I would probably base a lot of it around the ESRB rating, and then I would look at the game itself and not necessarily. I would look at that more closely than the person who is playing it. Obviously, you know, Microsoft has collected a whole lot of data over the years and probably knows a lot about the people playing on its platform. And can make certain assumptions about different types of players, but I would probably look at, like, okay, for a driving game, if you've got billboards, these types of ads make sense in that particular format. If you're a sports game, these types of brands are going to be the brands that are going to want to be alongside a sports game. And I think that would reduce, like the worst experience would be like, yeah, you're like, hey, there's a billboard in a SpongeBob game, and it's for hardcore pornography. I don't know, or you know, or an R-rated movie, or some horror film or something like that. So you'd have to. That's a bad example, because the developers of the SpongeBob game would probably never let that happen, because the part where it's a SpongeBob game is already the ad for SpongeBob.
Say it's like a Nickelodeon kart game, right? And then there's like an ad for a dating app, perhaps. right?
Or probably like some non-licensed kids game.
Sure,
like
sure.
It was like hey, Voodoo Vince is back again, and or something like that. Like you probably wouldn't. Yeah, I think you could probably figure out, like, as a brand, if you were advertising in a game, you could probably figure out what sorts of games you would want to target, and then on top of that, what types of users, what types of user accounts you would be willing to advertise in front of. If Microsoft wants to do this right, and the report does say that they are moving very slowly with it, because it's the sort of thing that if you get it wrong, it is poisoned right off the bat, and users revolt in a gigantic way, and you're fucked. So you have to get all of those things right in a very contextual way that makes it feel almost seamless, and not intrusive, and all that sort of stuff. So yeah, I don't know. It's
I wonder now, like, because seeing ads dynamically inserted into a sports game for some reason makes sense to me. Maybe because when you're watching football, you're used to getting commercials and stuff.
Yeah.
So then
like part of the experience
Yeah.
is the brands and advertisements that exist around a sports game, for sure.
So I guess I worry about the sportsification of some modes of video games. Like, does the multiplayer in a Halo game, or does Halo Infinite multiplayer become super duper esportsy because now we have to sell like this energy drink in between rounds or something? Like, does the presentation ultimately get affected? And like, you know, some other sports games, even like besides a racing game, maybe like a snowboarding game or whatever, on top of being plastered in game, you have like interstitials or whatever like that.
Yeah, I mean, I think the answer is yes. You could absolutely, because you think about, like, okay, well, why wouldn't you have like Rocket League? Why wouldn't you have ads in Rocket League matches? It already has a sports-like presentation. But yeah, your point about like, oh, would you take, like, you know, obviously all the Halo maps are built like locations that, you know, in a lot of cases ads wouldn't make sense, but would that skew development in favor of like, oh, we've got an arena level that looks, look, there's room around. It's a very sports-like presentation that we've done here for this Halo map. And by the way, you should go buy some cans of Rock Stars.
Yeah. Does Voodoo Vince 5 suddenly take place in an abandoned football arena?
Right. Or do you see games inserting aluminum cans into things that can be reskinned on the fly?
Wow.
I did not realize that this had occurred until one of these dang Roy's boys on Discord pointed it out, that the Death Stranding director's cut does not have cans of Monster in it anymore.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
It now has some kind of fictional Bridges energy drink in it, which the cans for that actually look pretty good. But also, I will be let me play both sides of it a little bit here, where I don't always, I think a lot of brand integrations into games are absolutely terrible and ruin the experience. But this is a case where, bring back the Monster cans. What are we doing? What have you done?
Oh, maybe
what have you done?
Monster only, you know, the contract they signed was only for the release and not any other release, right?
I bet that's exactly the case, right? Where like they were like, hey, we will pay you to be in this game. And then they were like, wait, what? We paid to be in what? What is this game actually about? You did what? You put our brand in what? And they're like, no, we will not re-up and pay more money to be in the director's cut. So
nuts.
Leave us out of it. I wonder if they went out and shopped around. If they were like, hey, can we get another, you know, another energy drink sponsor or something for these cans for the director's cut? Or if they were like, no, the director's true vision.
Yeah. Kojima's like, come on.
Yeah.
You think Monster's around in this world? Let's be pure. I always assumed that we were going to get like kill cams sponsored by something.
Oh,
I thought we were going to get like play of the game
Right. Yeah. Play of the game
You know,
stuff, I think, makes a lot of sick sense.
This Poggers moment.
The
brought
Mexican
to you
pizza
by
is back, and
Pringles.
it presents.
Pringles Poggers moment of the match.
Yeah. But like Overwatch seems like a game that could have an ad every 5 minutes. And you'd be like,
Sure.
yeah, I guess that makes sense. And yeah, like a sponsored MVP, a sponsored play of the game, all that sort of stuff makes quite a lot of sense when you think about it.
And if you're wondering where the Fortnite ads are, you don't know what ads are.
You're paying for the ads in Fortnite.
If you are unaware, there's a course you can take.
Yeah.
What do you mean? My Naruto skin is an advertisement for something?
No.
I just love Naruto.
Yes, you do. Yes, you do. In our last story, Vicarious Visions, the longtime developer who I always think of as the developers of the Tony Hawk games on the GBA.
Sure.
A really astounding port of some really great games.
Yeah.
They have officially rebranded. This is, again, not new news. This is stuff that Activision talked about quite some time ago. But the Vicarious account tweeted out on April 12th, "We've officially merged with Blizzard Entertainment. Our development team will remain in Albany, New York, and fully dedicated to Blizzard games. We invite you to follow us at Blizzard Entertainment." And now they will be known as Blizzard Albany.
Oof. Yep. Albany's certainly getting a lot of snow.
Yeah.
That's wild. I didn't know there was a developer in Albany. That's
I did not know that. For some reason, I thought that they were Southern California based, and I don't know why I thought that. But all this time, I figured that they were somewhere near where Neversoft was originally, and all that sort of stuff. But I guess they are New York based.
Sure, that's New York.
How far are you from Albany compared to like
under
Manhattan?
3 hours?
Okay.
You could skate there.
Yeah.
That would be longer. Albany, like, Albany has become like the in-between stop on your way to like other places.
Like what, like Canada, or like what do you like?
Yeah, like Montreal maybe, or somewhere in Vermont if you're going,
Okay.
Not that, look, Albany's fine. I've been there a bunch. It has lovely portions of it, but it's just like,
All right.
Here I am. Now I'm going to get shitting on Albany hate. It's fine.
Apparently, fuck Albany is what I'm hearing.
Apparently, the takeaway of the title of this show is now Motherfuck Albany.
Yeah. Well, there you go. Oh, one last story here. I forgot the AEW game. The All Elite Wrestling video game. Ukes has been working on it for some time now, but it's just been in this weird vacuum of like, here's a little bit of game footage, here's a little bit of this. Fightful, which is a website devoted to wrestling coverage, says that there has been internal discussions about potentially releasing the game in September, which is pretty soon. They've been working on it for a bit. The report cites, this is Video Games Chronicle reporting on the Fightful story. The report cites an AEW source who claims that while internal plans have not yet been finalized and there is still work to be done, as of this week, September is reportedly the release window being considered.
Exciting. Okay.
Well, that's why Xenoblade Chronicles 3 moved up then. They wanted to get out of the way of AEW's game.
Yeah, they had to get out of the way of that AEW game. They've put out a little bit of footage of this running. It doesn't necessarily even look like it's live gameplay. It kind of has a real pre-rendered vibe to the stuff they've put out. The models look okay. I think my big question is, who the fuck is going to publish this game?
Oh,
presumably they'll want to put it on disc, and you could be an indie developer. Like Ukes could self-publish digitally and do all that sort of stuff. But like, I get, one gets the impression that it would be a fairly big release. So like, does Warner put it out because they have the TV deal in place? Like, they don't own AEW, so there's no guarantee that Warner does it. But
what publisher can Tony Khan buy?
I we would have to go look who's left that hasn't been bought.
Bandai.
Tony Khan owns wrestling and anime. That's a dangerous combination.
Kenny Omega would be very psyched.
Yeah, I think
sure.
that one. Yeah. Speaking of that, there was a Kenny Omega interview with Wrestling Observer not that long ago where he talked about the game a little bit and made it sound like that. You kind of said like, hey, we're not looking to compete with WWE's game. Look at the presentation on that game. It's crazy how good it is. It's crazy how good that game looks. We just want to make a game that you can sit down with your friends and enjoy. That's kind of a throwback, and they've kind of like talked about the Aki stuff and how they're trying to bring back that kind of No Mercy feel.
Right.
And which I
know really, you're torn on it.
I'm very conflicted about it.
I'm a big fan of those games.
But yeah, I thought it was interesting. I mean, when you look at the footage that they put out of the game, I think it does look good, but maybe not great, maybe not amazing. The models look good. I don't know. It's hard to say. Like they haven't put out enough footage of it to really get a sense of where it's going to fall compared to what 2K is doing. But yeah, I wonder, there was the rumor going around that EA was interested in a WWE deal. Maybe they do what they did when they got a WCW deal and they take an AEW deal to publish that. I wonder if that would make sense. But
I think it's weird that there isn't anybody associated with it tied to it.
Yeah, that it's just been like here's this wrestling promotion putting out footage of a game that they're working on with a developer. It's just such a like really roundabout way to announce and showcase a game. Like normally the publisher stuff happens up front. Yeah, and the publisher handles the PR end of it, so it's just kind of fucking weird.
I didn't realize it didn't have a publisher attached.
Well, so I guess the story's going around that they have been looking for publishers and they have had those sorts of conversations, but just haven't really announced anything. So it's entirely possible that they've already signed a deal and are just waiting to announce it. We don't really know one way or the other. But yeah, it's just strange. It's just such a backwards way for a game to happen.
Warner Brothers does make sense. Ish.
I feel like Warner has spent so much of the last year trying to fucking get out of the games business that like, and only to realize like, oh, I guess we're not going to do this and we're going to keep these studios. That I wonder how much more they're looking to do. It would be pretty turnkey. I mean, obviously, like the game's already underway and being developed. All they got to do is put it in boxes and distribute it, and they already have the pipeline in place for that and promote it, and they already have people in place to promote video games. So yeah, maybe it would be right up their alley, and they do already have that television relationship and all that sort of stuff. But yeah, I don't know. It doesn't seem guaranteed that it's Warner, but I guess that it does. That does make the most sense out of anyone kicking around these days. Sure. That's gonna do it for news. Why don't we take a break? Cool. We'll come back and talk about some emails.
Ooh.
Fortune favors the bold, the strong, and the brave. For your business to break out of anything holding you back, you need business checking as brave as you are. Introducing Novo Business Checking. Now, what is Novo? It is powerfully simple business checking. Unlike the traditional banking model, Novo has no minimum balances, no transaction limits, and no hidden fees. Instead of a one-size-fits-all approach, Novo is customized to your business to save you time and free up cash flow. It has seamless integrations to Stripe, Shopify, QuickBooks Online, and more. Sign up for Novo for free and join the community of over 150,000 fearless small businesses who have found the customizable business checking solution that admires their brave. Whoa. Sign up for your free business checking account right now at novo.co/bombcast. Plus, you can get access to over $5,000 in perks and discounts exclusively with this deal. Go to novo.co/bombcast to sign up for free. novo.co/bombcast. Nova Platform Inc. is a fintech, not a bank. Banking services provided by Middlesex Federal Savings FA, member FDIC. Terms and conditions apply. All right, we're back. And why don't we get into some electronic mails? Bombcast@giantbomb.com is the email address. Send in your emails and we'll take your questions and then we'll answer them. It's really a simple process.
Yeah.
We have a lot of we have a good amount of people wrote in this week talking about crimes they witnessed while working at a GameStop.
Mm.
Oh, okay.
That must be a daily occurrence for some people.
Yeah.
We should just
a
have
lot
a
of people who were
column.
like, thank God I got the hell out of there. Anyway, here's some crazy shit I saw. But first, Andy in Lansing writes in and says, last week's show, Jan referred to himself as a Kingdom Hearts pervert.
Okay.
Which seems like a fair label for Kingdom Hearts fans. It made me think, what other game fandoms does that work for? Because it doesn't work for all of them. Call of Duty perverts, no. Souls perverts, yes.
Yes.
Hockey perverts.
Street Fighter sticklers, no.
Hockey pervert, does a Street Fighter pervert doesn't? I feel like there's just is it the presence
Street
of
Fighter's
something?
gotten pervy
Yeah.
when 5 came around. Like, wow, it really got pervy.
I can be horny for hockey. Like I've let me rephrase that. I've been horny for hockey.
You're a real puck fucker.
Let me just say the term Kingdom Hearts perv, I don't mean it that anyone is horny. I just mean that they're a little freaky. Like you're like you obsess about this fandom a little too much.
I would think when I think about franchises where it would fit, I think the presence of something that resembles anime probably is necessary for the pervert label
for
to
perversion.
Yeah.
Like you're almost there with Monster Hunter. You can almost be a Monster Hunter perv. But not quite.
Yeah.
It doesn't quite fit. The shoe doesn't quite fit.
Yeah.
And I feel there's just enough. Is it Japanese franchises? Because I like Elden Ring and the Souls games, like, there's probably some. I feel like there's a little bit of anime up in there, right? You can feel
hug that maiden or whoever she is.
Right. Yes. You can get banned for wearing her underwear, apparently.
Yeah. Like I would classify people there's like Digimon pervs out there.
Sure. But not Pokemon perverts.
No.
But there are definitely Digimon perverts.
Yeah. I feel like it may have to be originate from Japan and may have to have a convoluted story.
Okay.
Because I feel like certain Metal Gear games, you'll get your Metal Gear pervs. But not all of them, though.
Yes.
Like Metal Gear Solid 5, no pervs for that.
13 Sentinels got a little pervy, didn't it?
Tongle in the chat says Gran Turismo, which I wholly back.
Oh, yeah.
That's
those cars are fuckable.
That's
car fuckers,
disgusting.
Don't go to that coffee shop's bathroom in GT7, please.
No.
Yeah.
Do not.
I was made aware of a whole car fucking thing.
Did you ever see that episode of My Strange Addiction? The guy that's in a relationship with his car?
That's the one.
That's the one. Made me realize something about myself.
I learned new words that I don't know if I can say. Like I'm just not gonna
part of
say,
that lifestyle.
say that word.
Yeah.
You know.
Mm-hmm.
Guys want to fuck cars, whatever. You know. Hey.
I literally saw a picture yesterday. I don't know which Discord server was responsible for it, but it was literally someone who had his action stuck in the tailpipe of a car. That's where I'm at.
It's an embarrassing phone call.
I just saw that. That just scrolled by yesterday. I was like over here doing stuff, getting the podcast news story. What's going on over here? That guy's fucking a car. Anyway, all right, hang on. That guy's fucking a car.
The worst part, I understand. Look, again, I'm not trying to judge anyone. I just feel
you can yuck these yums.
I just feel like that's the dirtiest part of a car,
right?
Stuff's
blowing out. Literally, you can get stuff in your junk.
Yeah, it is. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, it is dirty, isn't it? You like it dirty, don't you?
I mean, well, then, I guess that all makes sense. It's, that voice times 1,000 for this shit.
A straight pipe and taking the muffler off. 0.0 inches of back pressure.
You feeling this torque?
3.5 inches of forward pressure, if you know what I'm saying. All right, next email.
Thank you.
Okay. This is from someone who just said it's from glad to be out of GameStop.
Nice.
This person worked
so many people.
Yeah, worked for the company for 15 years as a manager and left a few years ago. When I first became a manager, I was transferred to a struggling store. When I walked in and introduced myself, the key holder on duty tossed me his keys, said, "Fuck this," and walked out. We later discovered he had been sleeping with the former manager and was her soon-to-be baby daddy.
Cool.
Okay, yeah. We later had an instance of the assistant manager stealing one of the nightly deposits, claiming they were robbed at the bank. They called the cops, filed reports and everything. Turns out a security camera on the building next door caught it all, and there was no actual attempt. Only a time I ever got a summons to court.
How do you get, like, what kind of fucking video evidence? Is it just you walking into your car, or like having some kind of Tyler Durden fight with yourself,
or like, you know, is it? What was on that camera? Was it nothing? Because the person never made it there, or did the person go and walk up halfway and be like, "No, fuck this, I'm keeping the deposit tonight," and turn around and get in the car and leave? Like, how? I don't.
So good.
Yeah,
I love that. I love that so much.
I have definitely heard stories of people doing that exact thing and trying to get away with it, and they don't.
You never do.
If you're the person who takes the deposit to the fucking bank at night, like, don't, you know, if you're getting robbed, there's going to be a lot of evidence of it because you're taking it literally to a fucking bank.
Yes.
At Blockbuster, we used to have to, whoever was closing with you, if you were the night manager, they would have to follow you through the bank deposit line.
Yeah. That's an
added step of danger and, accountability.
Yeah.
Equal parts.
Yeah. That's all right. Keith writes in from Toronto and says, if through scientific innovation you could eliminate sleep forever without any negative side effects, would you, or would you decline and continue sleeping? Keith would love to be able to use all 24 hours of the day.
So let me just get this straight. I love questions like this, first of all. Because here's the thing, right? Like, sleep makes you feel good, right? You get like a tangible benefit when you wake up refreshed, well rested.
Makes me feel good.
That's
right.
Never
You're assuming that I'm waking up feeling refreshed.
Yeah.
Let's just say, ideally that's what's supposed to happen, right?
Yeah.
If I could somehow, like, if I don't, in this situation, do I not require that? Like,
it says without any negative side effects. So
absolutely. Absolutely. We spend a third of our lives sleeping. Like, are you kidding? Of course.
No.
Like, I who would take the sleep? I don't understand. If it's pointless,
I'm taking the sleep.
You're gonna miss a third of your life.
Yeah. Yo.
But I'm experiencing dreams, which are fucking phenomenal sometimes.
Oh, but you don't remember dreams every night. Come on.
For a little while, I do. It's pretty great.
I mean, it's just that's the thing that's gonna keep you sleeping. If there's no benefit from it whatsoever, and you don't need to.
Yeah.
I wonder if would we be less creative or bad at problem solving if we did not have dream time to occasionally sort things out for us? I wonder.
But that's part of my question at the top there.
Yeah, I guess that would be would that be a negative side effect?
Do those benefits from sleep just not exist? Right? Like, no one can sleep on it. No one can do that because that's not a thing. You can't sleep on something because sleep doesn't exist.
Bakalar, you're interrupting so many industries. Mattresses gone. Sleepy time tea gone.
Sleepy time tea doesn't fucking work.
You get like a little flop bed just to like lay down on and read.
I'm not saying you can't lay down.
Yeah.
You know.
I feel like that's what you're implying.
I drink a lot of sleepy time tea. Let me just tell you, I don't think that works. I just don't think it does anything. I enjoy it. I enjoy the experience. I enjoy the process. I've become a tea person in the last couple of years.
Okay.
But it's just not like putting me in the zone. They make like an extra strength sleepy time, which I guess is just like more of nothing.
It's codeine.
It's just straight up, it's just straight up morphine. I guess. I don't know.
Just get some Sprite. Everything's fine.
Yeah.
Lean. I would definitely not sleep. I would love to. I hate, like, that is definitely something now with kids that like I have even weirder downtime because like I can't always be as productive during the day. So it's like if I could be up the entire time they were asleep, I would get so much fucking shit done.
Well, then they had the same deal though.
Yeah, they wouldn't, like, we can't. This world can't exist just for one person.
Well, he's saying if you could eliminate, would you take the opportunity? Or would you decline and continue sleeping? So it almost sounds like it's an individual choice.
Now we're entering like Twilight Zone sort of shit.
Am I the only person who can do this? That'd be even better because then I could roam the streets at night and steal stuff and be fully alert all the time.
Yeah, I'm with you there. I do think
catalytic converters, man.
Yes, I do think on a long enough timeline, those cons outweigh the pros of being the only one awake at night. I think that honeymoon period would be super sick. You'd probably like start, getting into graffiti and stuff, and you'd really exhaust like all of your options for being a nighttime dweller.
Yes.
Jeff gets really into roller skating and graffiti.
But some people work nights, and and this is the internet. You're talking to people that live on the other side of the world, and they're awake, and
but you can make it work. You can make it work.
I would watch movies again. I would get into seeing films.
This is a little bit about similar to that Twilight Zone of like.
Here's the thing we're not thinking of.
Yeah.
Think about how unproductive you can be given the set amount of time we already have. And there's moments of time where it's like, I just wasted 2 hours. It turns out that thing was so easy. If you never sleep now, you're going to be wasting so much time.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, there's that too. File that in the
time to waste.
At
that point. Yeah. But if the kids are awake too, then I'm out. Because that's I need time.
Terrible.
I need time for them to be asleep because otherwise I would just die. Sleep or no sleep. They would run you down. They would drill me into the fucking dirt, man.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Would I even enjoy coffee anymore?
I think so.
This would rip out so many things I enjoy.
You'd probably still get sort of tired, right? I mean, energy levels fluctuate a little bit regardless. So
yeah, I mean, sleep is such a sensitive thing, though. Like, if I don't get a perfect night of sleep, I just don't feel 100% the next day, and that includes like waking up 30 minutes before my alarm. Yep. Like, if you wake up 30 minutes before your alarm and you go back to bed, you are asking for trouble. You pretty much should just stay up. But yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, it's still, the boy sleeps in this bassinet back here, and I got a little bed over here that I sleep in, and he comes down, and I'm here quietly typing for a handful of hours before I go to sleep, and so I'm usually going to bed around 10 or 11. And his schedule is changing as he gets older. He's 7 months now, and so he's gone from like waking up at like 1 and then 3 and then 6 to now he just wakes up at like 4:30. And then goes back to sleep until 6 or 7 or something like that. And it's actually been like last night is maybe the best night of sleep I've had in months. But it's so dependent on his schedule right now because he still wakes up for some boob time. And I'm the facilitator of like, okay, I'll make that available.
I'll go get the boobs.
I'll go get that. It's if he didn't sleep, I would not make it. If he didn't sleep, I would not be here right now. Sometimes he doesn't sleep. Anyway, I got a hockey email.
Ooh,
from Joseph here. Says hockey. I'm at a Red Wings game. We are losing 6-1. Tickets cost me $325 for 5 people. Parking was $45. I spent over $100 on food and drinks, no alcohol even. This is a farce. Jeff Bakalar is a false prophet.
Wait, how much on parking?
45.
That's standard.
That's too much.
Is that too much?
Okay. I mean, you park in like the stadium. It depends on where, like, it's not Joe Louis Arena anymore. It's something else. I forget what it's called over there. I think it's like Little Caesars Arena. But whatever it is, I know, right? Like,
I'm ready.
I don't know. You gotta if you get swept up in all of the, sort of like, hurting, sort of like policies that these kinds of things will do. Yeah, you get hit up for like $45 parking. Just like anything. It's like, you buy the 3-year warranty on a thing that doesn't need it. And look, we also are skirting around the fact that the Red Wings are real bad. Okay.
Yeah, you probably knew going in that it was going to be too expensive for the game you were probably going to watch, right?
Red Wings are not great. Like my team, they had a really, really solid multiple decades run of being awesome and then not so awesome. So I can't help you in that department.
Who's on the wing? Is it Jeremy Rennick? Is that guy? Is he?
Nope, he's been retired for like many years. Dylan Larkin is their star player now.
Number 27, Blackhawks.
I
played the NHL 95.
Yeah. And it shows. No, I feel like, that's how it works. You don't spend $100 on food and drink and not get some booze. Like, how's that?
I don't know. Maybe you bring a bunch of children.
Maybe you got the fancy. Yeah, you probably, if it was 5 people, there's probably some kids in there that are going to want.
Yeah, but like you're allowed to have a beer while your kid has like, some like, whatever, ice cream.
Corn dogs or whatever.
Nachos. Like, hockey games are fun. Losing 6-1 sucks. Someone trolled me the other day. I took my kid to a game that was the most horrific loss I've seen the Devils ever have in person.
Yeah.
Like it was terrible. It was jaw-droppingly awful. It happens. What are you going to do?
Well, at least look at it this way. At least you're into a real league. Like you could be out here talking about USFL games or something, There's
was that soccer?
The United States Football League, they started playing games.
What are the Red Bulls in?
The Red Bull
MLS. They're in MLS.
That's a soccer.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, look,
you could be into an alternative football league.
Right. Yeah, I guess there's that.
Yeah. So it could always be worse. Ryan writes in and says, short, simple, what is the video game equivalent of a flat earther?
Kingdom Hearts Pervert.
Okay.
Oh, that's a really good question.
I mean,
I feel like any fanboy anywhere.
Yeah, I mean that's probably there's like the level of conspiracy bullshit of just like
console fanboy in
particular our games.
Yeah, anyone who's like convinced that there's like an intangible superiority or something like
this company paid so that this person would write a bad review of the game.
It's that person too, for sure.
Like that is the chemtrails of video game stuff. For sure.
Like if you've got a string of like 5 digits or more at the end of your Twitter handle and you are a human being, you're that person.
Yeah. Ben in Boston writes in and says, Nintendo loves trying new things and shaking it up. Do you think that the Switch 2 will just be a very similar, more powerful Switch, or will they do something weird?
I think Switch, however many years we are beyond its release, it's like 6, right? Or 5 or 6?
Yeah, that sounds
2016.
That sounds right.
I just think there's a lot of gas left in that tank with like this format. I don't think there needs to be a substantial, I'm not saying nothing, aside from obviously the horsepower upgrades and whatnot.
Right.
I don't think there needs to be a fundamental reimagining of this thing.
Bigger.
Yeah, but that's what I'm saying. Like, outside of, but like the basic tenets of what this is, I don't think they need to explode up that idea and start over.
Now, what if they put a second screen on it?
You say that perhaps in jest, but I'd kind of be down.
Yeah, I'd be down. Sure. Like again,
and you can remove that would be as well. You don't need it for every single game. If you want to go play your OG Switch games, it's fine. You can just like flip it down, but then you can flip it up for the new Switch.
And
then that also has its own set of Joy-Cons.
Okay.
They need to bring the C buttons back. That's the only way to do it.
I need more Z's. Yeah.
I think it's gonna be a ton. I think it's gonna be a ton of quality of life improvements for sure.
You would hope.
exactly.
Yeah.
I just can't see them like taking, that far of a leap in one direction. I don't know.
Yeah, I think that they're hitting an interesting midpoint of like, hey, this is a portable system and we've always had those, and also it can hook up to a TV if you want that. I think that's still a good idea. I think that's a really good idea for them and where they are at.
Mm-hmm.
And so I wouldn't think that there would be a dramatic departure with whatever the next Switch ends up being. I think that the whole fucking 4K Switch farce is like, in some ways that should be going down as one of the great fucking everyone reporting in this business, or a lot of people reporting in this business, got straight up fucking fooled, whether that was by bad reporting or I don't know what, but like when they get around to making another Switch finally, I don't think they make dramatic changes, but I do think it's more than just like, yo, it's 4K now, because obviously like the power, where they need to get to with the power is more than just like, hey, these same games can now run in higher resolution. It's more like, hey, we need to make sure we're competitive with other platforms. I mean, if you think about the problem they need to solve for, that is getting worse by the day now that the PlayStation 5 and the Xbox Series S are out, is how do you get developers to port games to the Switch, especially as they are no longer, or they are going to eventually stop porting their games to PS4 and Xbox One. And so you're not even getting that low end version that you can go like, oh, this is the version we can use for the Switch because it kind of works this way, and all this other stuff. Like they need to increase the power just to allow third parties to keep making games, because at some point it'll be too much work, or they'll have to spend so much money on porting the game to the Switch where people buy first party games and the third party sales are maybe not even like, that dramatic of a deal for them anyway. Like, you've got to build the case for why third parties should support the Switch in the first place, and making it as easy as possible is probably the road there. So I would think that anything they do would go in that direction of like, okay, now you can take your PS5 assets and put them on this device too. It's maybe not as powerful, or maybe it's, who knows where they end up. But yeah, that seems like the big problem they would have to solve. I think they go backwards compatible, because I think you have to at this point.
Sure.
Like imagine if they had a big architecture change on top of all this, and it was like, oh, and none of your original Switch games run.
Yeah.
You blood in the fucking streets.
Yeah.
This was a weird thought that I had. What if they go, how they take care of the whole Switch 4K stuff? Forget screens entirely. HoloLens.
Sure.
Go full AR.
Sure. Why not?
And then you just have your Joy-Con strapped to your face.
Okay. Yes. I will strap the Joy-Cons to okay. If you want the actual answer as to why they don't do that, why they wouldn't do that, it's because
some people don't have heads.
Yeah. Some people don't have heads. Nintendo was all about families. Nintendo was all about ways to share the experience. And that might sound weird for a device that is thought of as a portable that you're holding in your hand and going, get the fuck away from me, I'm on the bus. But it's definitely something that drives a lot of their philosophy.
Yeah.
Like they're very much still in the like rooftop party mindset, I think. If not the family gathered around the television, local multiplayer sort of stuff. Like I think that's just stuff that matters a lot to them.
Here's how you take care of it. Here's how you take care of it. The Wii U, it had like a little console standalone top box thing, and then it had the handheld stuff separately, right? And you're beaming it back and forth here.
Oh, I'm beaming all right.
This Nintendo, if you do this, you have to legally pay me.
Yep.
You have your Switch 2, but it also has Joy-Cons, but it has multiple headsets. It can beam out to the headsets.
Daisy change, yeah.
Sure. Everyone's all headsets all the time.
Yes.
Yes.
You imagine making Mario in AR?
No,
like he's in the room with me.
Yo,
and he looks like Chris Pratt.
Oh no, what have I done?
I know. Think about what you're actually asking for before you accidentally get it.
Mario Kart Live was meant to map out your houses, and now you're just gonna have Mario Kart on the floor.
Oh shit! They've been collecting all this data for all this time.
They intimately know what my feet and my kitchen floor looks like.
He knows everyone's floor plan.
Damn it. They're going to break in, steal all the
Nintendo
other game
contracting
systems.
services.
Chad is saying it right there. It's Mario, but the AR in Mario is capitalized. You're welcome, Nintendo.
All right. Done. And because there's input and output, the IO is also capitalized.
Oh God.
Think about it.
You're
Think
welcome.
about it.
I should have went to business school.
You're in it.
Just committing crimes in business and going to business school are pretty much the same thing.
NFT
Nathan
perverts. I'm sorry.
Yeah, NFT perverts.
That's
yes, the instant intersection of technology and perversion. Nathan from Tumwater, Washington asks, "What soda that's been discontinued do you wish they'd bring back?"
Surge. No, Vault Zero.
I like Vault,
which is kind of like a mellow yellow kind of tasting thing.
Yeah.
But it's in a black and green can. Dude, it's fucking amazing.
Yeah, Vault's pretty good.
Yeah.
I would like. They did flavored jolts for a while. There's like a cherry.
Jolt.
And there's some kind of blue
Really?
one. But I don't know. They've been so outclassed by the energy drink game is so crazy that Jolt coming back would require A, do the flavors, and then B, it has 10 times the caffeine as for everything else. If you really want to market it that way, you got to go for it.
They were only twice, right? They were only claiming to be twice.
Yeah, it was like twice or four. It was 4 times, and then maybe it was twice later that they like chickened out on even that. I forget what it was, but yes, we're so far past that with where energy drinks are these days that for Jolt to come back and make an impact, I would have to be like, there's 3,600 milligrams of caffeine in here.
Yeah, there'd have to be like ketamine in it. I mean, they'd have to like fucking...
Sure. Yeah, I mean that's a different type of Jolt.
Yeah.
But let's just drink this and disassociate for some hours.
Jolt ayahuasca.
Yeah, I'm just gonna drink this and go away for a bit.
Fade away.
Yes.
I just want OG Coke Zero back.
Yeah.
Kind of, yeah.
What I want.
Yep. Yeah. The stuff
Seems
they're
like
peddling
that's
now.
what everyone's saying, right?
Criminal. It's criminal, but they're selling. Here's some more electronic store crimes. This person says, here's a list of crimes from when I worked in retail over a decade ago. I worked at a popular but now defunct City electronic store at the time.
Nice.
I'm just going to read the first one of these because I like these sorts of stories. When the 360 was first released, we still had original Xboxes on the shelves. One disgruntled employee sold 4 to 6 original Xboxes to older people as Xbox 360s. He then took the Xbox 360s that should have been given to the customers out to his car when he clocked out for the day and was never heard from again.
Jesus.
Whoa, no. I appreciate crime, but not against old people.
That's
I don't like that kind of ripping off.
But I do like stories specifically that are like, this person did the fucking brazen thing and then fucking disappeared. Like that. I love that. As if like they don't send checks somewhere or have this person's fucking address.
I don't get that.
Like you better fucking hit the fucking road.
Yeah, like, are you going on the lam right now because of this thing? Like, this is what you've chosen?
Like, this is the moment in your life where you're like, okay, I'm at a crossroads here. Either I'm going to stay here wearing this fucking bullshit white button-up shirt and selling people fucking bullshit all day and answering their dumb fucking questions, or I'm going to make something of myself. I'm going to hit the fucking road with these 6 Xbox 360s. Yeah. We're going to get out there and fucking, I'm going to make something of myself. Like, yes. Kevin in Connecticut writes in, says, I just had a wild thought. Sony says the PlayStation Plus service won't have their games day and date. However, MLB The Show is on Gamepass day 1. What a weird world for a PlayStation developed game to be day 1 on Xbox, but not on PlayStation.
Crazy.
I wonder if that will end up being the exception once PlayStation does launch their service. I wonder if the show will end up being an exception to that rule. So what is going on there is that Major League Baseball has a say in how that game continues on, and Major League Baseball is like, no, we're doing these deals and we're putting this on Xbox Game Pass And if you want to keep having these licenses and all this other stuff, this is what we're going to do. And so that's not Sony going in and being like, we would love to be on Game Pass. That's Sony going in and being like, all right, Major League Baseball says we have to do this. And then they are doing it. Still fucking weird.
Yeah, I love it. I love it.
Yeah. And that's going to do it for emails.
Ooh. All right, emails.
All right, emails. Again, bombcast@giantbomb.com is the email address where you can send in your emails and we'll take a look at them and see what's going on. Yeah.
Yeah. Take a peek-see.
Mm-hmm.
Little looky-loo.
What else is going on? Hey, Rift Tracks, the video game, is coming up here pretty soon. We played a little bit of it with some of the folks from Rift Tracks.
Yeah.
So a lot of fucking jealous. Oh my
Very
God.
cool.
Yeah.
I just sat there.
You produced.
Yep.
That's going to be a weird looking video because it is literally a recorded Zoom call. So know that going in, but we did record that and that's going to go up. That'll be up tomorrow. Yes, that was
pretty early.
That was crazy.
Mm-hmm.
That was crazy.
We've got, I don't know if you know this, but I'm an anime guy now.
Oh yeah. No.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
I can tell.
I've learned that anime is wrestling and wrestling is anime. I finally learned that truth midlife.
Yep.
Which feels good. A little better late than never.
Welcome.
But yeah, it's great to be here. Jeff's Bizarre Adventure is about to wrap up part 2 of JoJo's Bizarre Adventure. And we're recording that. We've still got plenty more episodes in the can here. But I just got to say, we just finished up a 3 anime episode arc here that knocked me on my ass. It really is this fascinating thing. If you are like me and you've never dabbled with JoJo, you don't know what JoJo is.
Light it up.
I cannot stress enough how much this show might be that perfect onboarding for you as it was and has been for myself.
Okay.
Excellent.
And obviously Super Eye Patch Wolf. What a charmer. What a guy.
Talks
Really
a little slow, but I still love him.
I'm the only one without a great accent on that show. So even if you're in it for that,
well, to certain audiences, you might be the one with the accent.
Right.
To the 3 of them, I am. So
who's this Carl guy? Who's this guy? He's like Aqua Teen looking.
Right. Why? Right. Why am I being yelled at a baseball game by someone?
Did you see? Speaking of which, that there are new Aqua Teen webisodes.
They're back.
Are there now?
Whoa.
It's like 3-minute little things, but there is some new Aqua Teen stuff out there.
Well,
I guess they have a movie still coming.
Still coming?
Really?
Oh,
I was like, what? Really? They're still making that?
Because they've made one. I know they did one.
Made one.
Okay,
I did not love the movie.
The movie didn't hit for me. I mean, just like a lot of those episodes.
Yeah, sure. Yeah.
Like
a lot of the later episodes, as much as I appreciate it, they renamed it again. Whatever they're calling it now, it's Aqua Donk something. I appreciate that they're doing it.
I appreciate that it still exists. I do think Carl is one of the best cartoon characters ever. Straight up ever.
It was one of the things I was very jealous of Will Smith, who got to take his Foo VR technology down to Adult Swim, and they did a live VR Carl football prediction show. That is one of the fucking, I assume archives of that are out there somewhere. It is one of the fucking most bananas fucking things.
God damn.
And I remember watching that and just going like, God damn, that's so fucking cool that he can just fucking do that.
Gotta get my hands on that tape.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah. No Run to the Hills this week. Taking a quick break because I have to go marry people. I'm not getting married. I'm going to a wedding.
How many people you married by now, Jan? How many people you
did one at PAX, another one, and then this one. So 3rd time's a charm, baby.
You're gonna get it right this time.
Oh yeah. Batting average so far.
I was gonna say, what's been your?
It's been 2 for 2. It's been 2 for 2.
Hey,
Well,
okay.
All right.
All right.
Yeah.
Doesn't bode well for these guys, but still.
Yeah. Ratcheting up the pressure every time, but you know, what are you gonna do? All right, the website is giantbomb.com. It's online on the internet. You give it a go.
Cool. That's handy.
See what you think. I don't know, kick the tires on that fucking thing and see what's up. We got some videos over there. And we'll be back next week with another episode of this thing, which is the Giant Bombcast. I don't know.
Jason, there yet?